Okay, we're live. So, where to begin? The multiverse. It's a bitch of a thing, ladies and gentlemen. No matter what you do, there's a version of you that's done the opposite.
Or just a version of you that's, well, done the same thing infinite times.
That's one of the things I hate about the multiverse idea is no matter what you do, there's like another you that probably there's like I hate the shit out of Red Letter Media. You know this, everyone. Like, there's probably beings under the sea that know this by now. But there's probably a version of me that loves them. And I'm like, oh, there's probably a hipster version of me out there somewhere. I need to unalive that
Well,
part.
who knows, Nathan? There could be a version of events where Red Letter Media is based, and that's why you like them.
In that reality, I'm still a hipster because the hipster me would hate the based version of Red Letter Media.
Well, yeah, but then there's also a reality where you're the same and you like it, and they're different. Like I said, there's no limitation to it.
I'm just imagining every version of me stuck in a room, and they're all like, I don't know what it is, but something about your face pisses me off.
Yeah, you know what? If you were to discover the multiverse, you'd be the only person to truly hate yourself infinitely. I don't know. Just thought it was funny.
I know, like I already don't like looking at my own reflection. Why would I want to see a lifelike versions of me?
Oh,
I'll probably do a mass punching spree.
wow. Well, I guess I'm on the positive pro multiverse side because to me it tells me that in a way we're all significant. I know when most people, well, not most people, when some people explore that concept, they think, okay, that means everything's meaningless. But in my personal opinion, it means that, well, everything's meaningful because since there's infinite versions of us, that means that we're pretty much very unique or special.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
pretty
know.
much. But for those who see this and have no idea what the fuck we're talking about, here's some elucidation. This reality you live in, there's another version of it. It's called the multiverse. There's infinite versions of yourself out there. Like, you know how some of you probably like crawfish, like I do? There's a version of us out there who hates crawfish.
I want to meet the version of Nathan that is a crawfish Nathan. That'll be hilarious.
I'd kill that thing and eat it so fast. I'm not gonna lie. I would have that cooked, buttered, and served to me on a platter.
You'd eat a crawfish version of yourself. Okay.
It's a possibility. It's a
Yeah, yeah,
possibility.
fair enough. It is. It is. Yeah, fair enough, I guess.
And if no one knows exactly, if this sounds familiar to some of you, Marvel and DC have been doing the shit out of it for years.
I think since the 30s.
No, I think when I looked it up, it said
Hmm?
the 60s or the 70s.
Yeah. Well, actually,
When I looked it up, it said the.
the Silver Age Flash comics were in the 50s, so for DC. So there you go.
Okay, but yeah, and I could swear I heard Michael Moorcock was the one that pioneered it. I could swear Razorfist made that claim once, but then again, Razorfist makes some claims I can never verify.
I mean, the multiverse was a popular subject before. Then everyone lost interest in it, and now it's popular again because it's everywhere.
Yeah, and all of us nerds who were into it before, everyone had probably people looking at us like we were crazy.
Yeah.
Now go like, I was always into the multiverse. I'm like, no, you lying motherfucker. You were never into it. It's only because it's popular you're into it. You stupid normie prick.
Man, I don't know. Sometimes I get annoyed because I was the geek bitching about the multiverse for years in middle school, and I was told I was an idiot and to shut the fuck up. And now those same people are talking about the multiverse like it's nothing. It's
I found something funny while I was going through YouTube. I normally find the stream on YouTube to put it on Twitter. Here's something funny. New article finds nearly half of men are avoiding approaching women. I find that hilarious.
Oh, Nathan. Okay, so there's Michael
But
Moorcock's
anyway,
Nathan. There's Michael Moorcock's Multiverse. It's an American 12-issue comic, and apparently it was published in 1997.
Yeah, so I have no idea where Razorfist gets the claim Michael Moorcock pioneered it, but oh well.
Maybe he did. I mean, I don't think pioneered means you invented it.
I don't know, but then again, like Razorfist has made some claims in the past I need to verify. So like he talks about like all these books he references in his videos. I still need to read them to know he's not full of shit.
I mean, who knows? Maybe you should like ask him to hold on a second. Well, hold on a second.
Okay, a second's passed.
Shut up. Okay, so pioneer. Okay, so there's. All right, so there's three meanings for it. Someone innovative or inventive, to invent something, or to be someone breaking new ground in a particular field. So I don't think Michael Moorcock invented the concept, but he may have broken a new field in the multiverse subject. Like maybe he added to the concept. Who knows?
I don't know, maybe. Like I like the stuff Michael Moorcock has made. Oh no, Phil's here.
Oh, hey Phil, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey, you know what, Nathan? If it makes you feel any better, there's a version of events right now where Phil didn't show up.
Well, right now, it almost ended up that I didn't show up at all because this fucking thing makes an insistence that, you know, it has to access the mic and camera. The mic I can understand, but I don't want it accessing the camera, so I got to fiddle with all the stupid settings so I can get in here without people being able to see my face.
Then again, there's also probably a version of events where we're the old men and Phil's like, what, 20, 19?
That's a scary thought. A young hippie Phil running around. That's a scary thought.
I mean, you're afraid he might end up being a modern SJW. That's what you're afraid of.
Yeah.
No, what he's afraid of is that he wouldn't understand the bloody anarchist that I was at that age, because it's nothing like what I am now.
Phil, that's a scarier thought. I was just worried you'd be an SJW maybe, but no, being an anarchist is worse.
No, I just wanted to watch everything burn for no reason at all.
Okay, yeah, you were a fucking anarchist. You know, no, you're a literal anarchist. Assholes have called me an anarchist for being apolitical, yet you're the one that wants to watch shit burn to the fucking ground. You were the fucking anarchist, not me.
I mean, I kid about it a lot, but I kid about it because, well, I can now that I'm comfortable with it. But I actually don't want to see everything burn. When I was 20,
well, you don't now, but you did then. And I'm like, what's so wrong with saying politics is stupid? How does that make you an anarchist?
It doesn't. It means that you've seen through all the bullshit.
Yeah, well, apparently according to everyone I knew, family, friends, me saying fuck you to politics makes me an anarchist.
I'm not gonna say mean things about your family, but I don't think they're right.
Family and friends, Phil, not just family.
Well, yeah, but I was gonna say something and I had to bite it off because it was very unkind.
Well,
yeah, that's what separates me from Phil. Phil knows to hold his tongue. Me, I let it fly wild.
Yeah, you do. Now the thing is, Phil, is that where I grew up, I grew up in a lot of places, but mainly where I was, my family and friends said that you have to believe something politically. If you don't believe anything politically, then you're part of the problem. That's what they kept saying.
You know what I would have said? Okay, here's my belief. Here's my political take. Fuck your party.
What the hell?
Oh, here's my take. Everyone should have an umbrella.
An umbrella?
Yeah.
Here's my take.
Completely unrelated to everything.
Okay, here's a political take. Here's a political take. It should be mandatory that everyone in high school read the Pulps and Michael Moorcock. I would make that mandatory if I was in power. I'm not going to lie.
That sounds like fun, actually.
I know, because I was preparing a script for a video time about how, like, do y'all remember the stuff they made you read in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff they made me read was tripe. It was young adult sci-fi dystopian bullshit.
I mean, that sounds fun. Like Ender's Game. I like Ender's Game.
Ender's Game was
one of the things I'd. You go ahead.
No, just that there are a couple of the books that fall in that category where you're like, at first glance, you're like, man, this sucks. But then you read it and you're like, oh, that was actually that bad. I've been surprised by young adult books, to be honest. Some are really, really
Hunger
good, and
Games
some are just
tolerable.
so
It was
terrible.
actually fun. Yeah, Hunger Games was fun to read, but Twilight, the first book, I regret ever picking that up. I regret the school forced me to
You
read
actually read that? You sorry sap. I am
I
so
had to
sorry.
I had to read it a little bit because it was part of a class assignment.
You know what? Whatever teacher assigned
Your
that
teacher
class
was probably
assignment
torture you.
should be disbarred from teaching.
What the fuck? Okay, Phil, I wouldn't go there.
I'm sorry. I'm just not a big fan of Stephanie Meyer's work, and I give her an unending
Phil,
ration of shit because it rankles my wife sometimes.
Look,
And
Phil, I think Phil, trust me. I think Twilight is trash too, but I don't want someone disbarred for it.
I know, but I do that. I say that to get a rise out of my wife.
Here's the thing, though.
She's a fan.
That was one of my favorite teachers. That was one of my favorite teachers my freshman year who did that. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, that was
here's how it went in my middle school with Twilight. With Twilight, the boys didn't like it, the girls hated it, and overall, we all laughed at it. It's like we were like, "This book is so fucking stupid." And ironically enough, I actually defended the book because I never read it and I wanted to give it a shot. I was like, "Don't call this trash. I haven't read it yet." I only went through 5 pages and I threw the fucking book away. I'm like, what the fuck?
I literally am so happy right now because
I
never had to do that. I am so old. I didn't have to do that shit.
I got to the part where Sparkle Boy was talking about how music's changed, and then I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Why am I reading? Why am I even
Did
trying?
You call him Sparkle Boy? I'm gonna use that. Can I use that one? When next time I talk to my wife about Edward, I'm gonna be like, old Sparkle Boy.
Go ahead. But yeah, I read a couple books when I was in high school. One of them was about a kid who got trapped on Alcatraz because his bullies followed him there. I think they were going to hurt him. Like a bunch of different books when I was in high school. I can't remember any of them anymore, but that one I remember. I need to get a copy of it at some point. But I wish they had made
I read in high school were like John Steinbeck's The Pearl, For Whom the Bell Tolls, The Outsiders. I mean, you can kind of see what.
The only old story they had me read was of Mice and Men. Miss Lewis had me read that once for a class assignment. That was I kind of regret hanging out with her sometimes because it turns out she may have been an Antifa-tard.
Yeah, does it sound weird that at the time I was the only student excited to write a book report about A Tale of Two Cities?
What's that about?
It's about war. It's about poverty. It's about greed and class systems and just. Have you ever read Les Miserables?
No, I've never heard of that.
Oh my God! What rock have you been living under, Nathan?
Okay,
I don't mean to throw you, but dude, Les Miserables is hella old, dude. Oh,
Les Miserables. Okay, never mind. I have heard of that.
Yeah, but Tale of Two Cities is Here's the thing, though,
like
that.
Like I didn't find about. Like I usually find about stuff through YouTubers because my high school teachers didn't deem fit to tell me about actual good stuff like Pulps. I learned about that through Razor Fist. Like I never learned anything useful about like writing materials from my teachers. I find that shit on my own.
I got fortunate to grow up in a time when I didn't have to worry about too much schlock in the reading list, but I realized that after my brother, got out of high school that it really went downhill. I have friends who were like 10, 15 years younger than I am. And as they're finishing up high school, I literally watched it just slide down a hill. And it's like, fuck this. I'm glad I'm done. I literally never thought I'd say that. And I am getting ready to go to college at the time.
I'm glad to be done with college. If you told me I had to go back, I would say, could you just shoot me in the foot and call it a day? Because I'd rather be shot than go back to college.
I wouldn't mind going back to college now. If someone said you got to go back to high school, I'd tell them just kill me now.
Oh, I'd go back to high school. I had fun.
Kill me now before I end up killing someone else. Because if they try to put me through that again, somebody will die. And that won't be good for anyone. So don't do it to me. You know, it's that simple.
Look on the bright side, Phil. There's a version of you out there somewhere that loved high school.
Not likely. No, not unless he was like super popular or something. And I don't know, man. In whatever universe that happened, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself, motherfucker. Because I know if you did it wrong.
I'm tired of that phrase. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. I don't know. I used to hear that from a shit ton of fucking adults and authority, and I was like, "Fuck the man and fuck you." Check myself. No, I'm gonna wreck you.
I actually, that's actually from an Ice Cube song, and I got stuck on it because there's a YouTuber that I watch, and just not that long ago, he was like talking about something on his true crime podcast, and he was like, this guy just needs to check himself before he wrecks himself. And I was just like, and it's back like that. And so it's kind of more of a resurgence thing than anything else.
Yeah, the only way it could be worse is like there's one other downside of the multiverse. There's some versions of this world I would not mind visiting. Like there's probably a version where Arthur Morgan didn't die of tuberculosis. That would be a nice reality to visit.
You know what, Nathan? The one universe I would never visit in my lifetime, or at least the two universes, is the Purge universe and the Mad Max universe. No way in hell.
Oh, no, humanity is more fucked than Mad. Well, actually, no. It's a worse universe than Mad Max. Fallout, because humanity is still. Actually, no, I take that back. Max. Yeah, I take it back. Mad Max. The humanity is more fucked in Mad Max than they are in Fallout. That's a fucked up universe.
And any of these would be a walk in the park, and I'd be willing to endure it if I could go to the universe where my mom is still alive, so I could talk to her one last time.
Well, I mean, Phil, I don't want to sound like an asshole, but you do realize you won't be talking to the version of your mom that
but there's things that I need to get off my chest, and even if it's not the same version, at least being able to say the words to her face directly, and with the caveat that she would have to understand that I'm from another universe, and that what I'm saying is only to a version of her, not to her directly. That is something I'd also have to make implicitly clear.
Well, Phil, I mean, like, okay, even whether you believe in an afterlife, whether you believe in an afterlife or you believe in evolution, the fact of the matter is, the version of your mom that is, and speaking to another version, it's like, I don't think it'll have the same effect.
No, I'm not talking about the effect on her. I'm talking about the effect on me being.
That's what I'm referring to, man. I'm not sure it'll have the same effect.
I do. I think by proxy it would work.
Okay.
With the idea of just saying, now you know all these things, and I know that you're not the person that I really was meant to say this to, but saying it out loud gets it off my conscience, and here we are.
I think, what if, it's like if you go to a random reality with another version of your mom, not just could she be different, she could also be someone that, I don't know, it's not like your mom. Like you said, you have a good relationship. Well, you said you have a complicated relationship with your mom before, but the version of your mom you meet in that reality, no offense, might be an asshole.
Or she may never have had children, which is the one I'm actually hoping for. Because
seriously,
there's a reason for this, because it's something I know about human psychology. Even in multiple universes, there's certain. There would have to be a whole lot of circumstances change, and then I definitely know it would not be the same person. But
that's the risk. That's the risk about the multiverse, Phil. It's like, ironically enough, concepts like the omniverse, the multiverse are paradoxes, because there's not one version of consistency. There's infinite versions of consistency. So what may not be the rules there.
Right. But if I the reason I said without children is because that also sets it up to where if ever in her mind she ever had the question, what if I had kids? At least that question would be answered for her. Some questions would be answered for me, and I wouldn't be the only one getting something out of this.
I guess
that's the way I would want it to go down. But as you said, with the unpredictable nature of the multiverse, we're not guaranteed that's what's going to happen.
I mean, I'll give you some advice. Your best bet is that you have to go to reality that's not too different from this one.
True.
Maybe one where your mom lived instead of,
you know what would be a better multiverse to visit? I want to visit the verse where Jerry Conway isn't a prick. That'd be a nice one to visit.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But I would like to meet a Jerry Conway that I don't want to punch in the throat.
Well, hey, look, that's the irony of infinite realities. If there are people we don't like in this reality, then we probably like those people in another one.
Well, there's probably a reality where Stan Lee and Steve Ditko never had a fight.
Oh well, then fuck yeah. Well, then you know what? The reality where the Trinity of Marvel, Kirby, Lee, and Ditko never separated, Marvel would probably be in a better state right now.
Yeah, you wouldn't have these dipshits ruining it.
True.
And now to find out if I win $1.5 billion.
$1.5 billion what?
The Powerball. I don't do this often. I only do it when it gets past a certain point. That one.
Okay, Phil. We're talking about infinite realities right now, and you're concerned about if you win the Powerball.
Now, this is the reason I brought that up, because in one reality, or 2 or 5, I already did win that money. And
Phil,
I'm still waiting to win that money like I am now.
Phil,
and some realities that may never happen, including this one.
Phil, there could be a fucking reality where you're a goddamn king and you have all the fucking gold and imaginable, and you're concerned about one where you win the fucking Powerball? Are you shitting me?
Because it's not about actually the money this time.
Yeah,
I figured this out, and $1.5 billion. That's gonna take care of some stuff. But this time, it's more about, okay, I bought a ticket for $3, right? I hit one number, the Powerball. I got $8 back, and I was like, okay. So I bought 2 tickets. I've still got $2, and I'm gonna keep that. And every time I do that, and I actually cash out, I'm just keeping a part of that money out, so it's not all going back into the system anyway. And I'm just thinking about the probability numbers, and we're talking about infinite realities. I mean, the two are related. Come on. Infinite possibility means that you would have to look at each possibility and what would happen afterward too. But anyway.
Yeah, I really hate when they do that.
I'm just sitting here trying to figure out.
I mean, we're not gods, dude. We can't see all of infinity. That's beyond our that's beyond our limitations.
I don't even waste my time on lottery tickets, let alone the Powerball. The only time I gamble is on Grand Order. That's it.
I only do this when it hits over $1 billion. Once it crosses that 1B mark, I'm like, okay, I'm buying a ticket.
Yeah, I think you have better odds of winning for Grand Order than that.
Do what?
You probably have better odds of winning a 5-star in Grand Order than winning a Powerball.
Actually, I have already won a kind of thing once. I bought one of those match 5 tickets, or match 6 it was, and I hit 5 out of 6. I got $1,000. I was like, hey, me and my wife decided we wanted to go camping, so we bought all new gear and the whole 9 yards. It was, I mean, it's not impossible to win on this thing. It's just very unlikely to hit the big time, but if you don't take the chance, you'll never know the victory or defeat. So,
okay, how do you mute this damn alert system?
You find a nice deep pool of water and you chuck the phone in.
Okay, I'm gonna have to turn this off. Wait, no, I can't because that fucked my phone up last time.
Wait, what are you turning off?
My phone. I keep getting alerts from Twitter.
Oh. So Nathan, I gotta ask, why did you want to make a stream based on the multiverse anyway?
I'm game for doing streams just about anything. The only problem is it's hard to keep you dumbasses on track.
All right, Phil. You lead from here on. This is your channel. So
What?
Oh, you lead. So where do you want to go next?
Okay, what would be the worst multiverse possible, do you think? Like, what's the worst verse you could visit?
That the English actually managed to colonize the entire planet, or the Spanish, one of the two. If they had managed to do exactly what Hitler wanted to do, and that was conquer the world. I think that would be the worst possible scenarios.
I think the worst possible scenario would be like, reality would be multiverses where endless versions of Earth and universes itself just die off, like they just cease to exist. That would suck.
So basically what's gonna happen to this rock we live on one day?
Oh, you believe in the idea that the sun's gonna just gonna burn up everything?
I got a better one.
Yeah, I believe the sun's
where they decide that they want to figure out if they can make their own black hole.
Yeah, there's that universe. Yeah, here's the thing. Humans are so stupid. I think we'll be our own extinction. Like, before we ever get off this rock, we'll still be fine over the same stupid shit, doing the same stupid shit every day in and day out. And some
pretty much I agree with that assessment. At this point, we're doomed. We're doomed.
Yeah, humanity is its own worst enemy sometimes.
And there's no real walking it back at this point.
Well, guys, we always got a shot.
I know, but I always hear people say, think of the well, I like to be positive, but here's the thing. I also hear people say, think of the global warming. Like, there are so many things on this planet that can kill you. Global warming is not even the layup. Like, just look at Florida. It's filled with so many giant-ass snakes.
Yeah, well, Florida does. We do have our snakes, but mostly focus on the alligators.
Oh, then you have Florida Man, who kills you in the most insane way possible. Like, one time I heard,
like eating your face,
his head and left it at his doorstep. Granted, nothing of value was lost.
That was right there. Was my opening foray into Florida Man. Was Florida Man eats another man's face because he's high on bath salts. That was my opening foray into the Florida Man thing.
Oh, the Miami zombie story. Yeah, that was funny.
Yes. And it wasn't even really a zombie. I was so disappointed.
No, like, they shot that fucker with so many bullets and he would not go down. I'm like, how much bath salt did this guy take? Or acid or whatever?
He probably unlocked another level of power that humanity has never achieved yet.
That same thing to be said of people who've taken large, copious doses of PCP too. Because they're,
like, you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of the Luke Cage supervillain Bushmaster, Bushmaster, as some people like to call him, where he takes like some African voodoo shit and he gets like high on herbs, and he gets like super strength and speed and shit like that. I'm like, damn, and agility. It's like, holy shit.
It's like the hard
limitations of humanity with that shit.
But anyway,
or the monk took LSD and was like, "Is that all you got, bitch? Like a little LSD? You think that's gonna do me in?"
The monk. Oh, guys, I was wrong. He took 50 doses, not like 500 or 1,000. But that's still like, what the fuck? 50 doses of LSD.
Yeah, he probably took it and was like, "Bitch,
the most
please,
I ever did at a time was 2." And I've done acid. I've dropped acid. Most I ever did at a time, though, was 2. Because I knew my mind would not handle. Huh?
You do realize we're live, right? So if someone came on and heard that, there'd probably be police going like, FBI, open up.
That's fine. They can try all they want. There is nothing on the statute of limitations that they can get me for.
Oh, never mind.
And anything beyond that point is legit. 20 years ago, I turned it all over and I ain't looked back. So unless they can find something that has a statute of limitations longer than 20 years.
A story about a monk that I forget who went to visit him and gave him LSD. And they were trying to talk to these monks and tell them that this thing that he had would bring him immediate, instant bliss, enlightenment, okay. and he ate like 50 doses worth. Just laughed at the guy. Yeah, like it didn't even work on him.
Wow.
Now, I got this from Duncan Trussell, and he might have got it from someone who's really in love with crystals. So no one can tell whether or not that's true, but it might be true. And it's fun to think to some guy out there that doesn't have sex, that eats only tofu, and he's just breathing all day.
Right.
And you give him an acid, and he doesn't even blink.
Well, I know of a couple people that have this, the immense meditation that is, I would say, on par with psychedelics and acid and all that stuff. And
no, I think so too. Did you ever hear that story about a monk?
You know what, guys?
I forget who.
Guys, I'm starting to think the Jedi were actually right. Like they're meditating and shit, and I'm like, okay, the Jedi on our planet, the monks are meditating and shit, and I'm like, they can withstand fucking LSD. Like, come on, guys, the Jedi were right. They were right.
The Jedi were right up until they lost their fucking mind.
LSD. You know what? I want to see if someone gives like I think I heard that, remember in the EU, Cade Skywalker, like he's the descendant of the Skywalkers in the EU, and he took a shit ton of death sticks, and as a result, it weakened his connection to the Force. So it's like maybe a well-trained Jedi who trains hard enough could withstand death sticks, but like if they don't train hard enough and if they don't live the Jedi lifestyle, then they're going to be affected the same ways like everyone else. So it's like if we were similar to Jedi in our lifestyles, then maybe we too could withstand LSD. I don't know.
You just gave me the motherfucker of all ideas, something I had not even considered in my story writing possibilities.
What?
That a person's disconnect from the Force could be chemically induced. And that in itself, the telling of that, I think I can make that perfect.
Well, there's lots of things that can affect your connection to the Force.
Yeah, but being able to tell it from that point of view because of my own personal experiences, yeah, see, that's something I'm just going to have to mull over because I definitely see some possibilities I didn't see a minute ago.
It depends on the version. I mean, there's stories about martial artists who master chi and they take fucking psychedelics and it like sends them through the fucking roof and they could do all sorts of crazy shit. Like it really depends on the version, but in all honesty, if you ask me, I honestly think that if you could withstand the effects of LSD from meditating and eating a certain way, it's like, damn, it's like you're connected with the universe or something.
Yeah, you know about Cade Skywalker?
I'll be honest.
Oh, what, Nathan?
That was the whole reason why I did acid in the first place, was to connect to the universe.
No, the thing about Cade
that might not
Skywalker
be such a good idea.
Here's the funny thing about Cade Skywalker: he's a drug-using anti-hero, and he's still more compelling than Rey Palpatine.
Well, that's because Cade has struggles, he has trials, and he has an arc, and he can get hurt. I mean, Rey, you know.
I mean, that's like that. They did this way, like all these corporate assholes, all these Bob Iggers, they greenlight all this edgy shit.
Yeah.
Cade Skywalker sounds edgy, and he's still better than anything these schlubs could ever make.
Honestly, my take on that.
Honestly, you know what, like, Phil? Phil, I was gonna say this before you guys said that. I was saying, fuck getting in tune with the universe. Fuck that shit. I want to get in tune with the fucking multiverse. I don't know. Do I have to drink cosmic juice or some shit like that? I'm gonna be like the villain in Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm gonna just travel from universe to universe. I'm never gonna stop either.
Now, Rey Palpatine's plot armor is so thick it makes a rhino's hide look like parchment paper.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Nathan?
I said there's probably a multiverse where Rey doesn't exist. That's the one I want to visit too.
Of course there is. Well, we're talking about infinity, guys.
I'm going to go live there. I'm not just going to visit.
You're going to live there? Well, Phil, I mean, Phil, you do care about reality, right? I mean,
here's the thing. There were, and I will continue to say this, there were things in those 3 movies I liked. But that said, and it's nothing against Daisy Ridley at all, because I've seen her in shit afterward. I love the other stuff that she's done. She's a decent actress. She just got handed a rotten egg, you know.
I thought her.
If I lived in the universe that didn't exist, I'd be happy.
I thought her acting skills got worse over the course of the trilogy. But in all honesty, Phil, like if you go to another reality and you stay there, you could affect the timeline there, for better or worse. I mean,
that only depends on how much I interact with it. I got a place I can go right now, as long as that place existed in both universes, and I'll guarantee nobody will find me there. Nobody will bother me there. Nobody even knows it is there. Right. It is literally nowhere, and I know where nowhere is. If it existed in that reality, that's where I'd end up.
Well, I have a question.
Disturb everything.
Well, I have a question for you guys. Here's the thing. Now, Nathan, you seem like a guy who likes limits, right?
Kind of.
And Phil, do you like limits, or are you like me? Because I'm an infinity nut. I don't really care for limits.
I understand that the purpose of a limit is to sometimes protect more fragile parts of ourselves, which we would sacrifice or forego in order to achieve a result. That said, sometimes fuck our limits, because if we are not boundless, then what are we? But at the same time, you also have to be, I guess maybe I'm on the fence about it. I'm one of those kind of people that's adaptable enough. It doesn't matter if I have to have limits or if I don't have to have any. I can adapt, survive, and overcome anything.
Okay, well, here's my thing. I do like limits too, to some degree, but when we're talking about like infinite realities, I don't give a shit about limits. I'm like infinity all the way. But here's my thing. You know, you guys seem to like limits to some extent. I do, but I'm an infinity nut. But would it scare you guys to know, like, this is all theories. Like, this is a human theory that humans came up with. So we don't have legitimate proof, you know, as of now. But if we actually had the proof, would it scare you guys to know that there's infinite versions of everything all over, and we're just one speck in that infinite row?
No, because I'm already a speck of dust in an indifferent universe. Dying a slow death.
I'd be more of a, okay, I'm going to have an existential crisis and an identity crisis, because if there's multiple versions of me, then what is the point of me living?
Well, that's the thing, Nathan. You're looking at it from the nihilistic angle, which a lot of people seem to when it comes to the multiverse. You have like Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland, who made Rick and Morty. They look at it, the concept of infinity makes them think everything's pointless. But I'm the opposite than most people. If I learned that the multiverse or the omniverse is actually real, then it'd have the opposite effect on me. The fact that there's infinite versions of myself tells me that I must be pretty fucking important. It tells me that you must be pretty fucking important. It tells me that Phil must be pretty fucking important.
All right, so now let me break one on you. What if you go to these infinite universes with infinite Dans and infinite Nates, and you find out there isn't infinite Phils, that it's a limited number? Just every now and again, you can still find me, but I'm not always there.
Well, here's the thing, Phil.
How would you feel about that idea?
Well, here's the thing, Phil. It's a paradox. I said this before. There is, the omniverse itself is endless contradictions, because there is infinite rows of reality where me and Nathan exist, and in some of them you don't. And there's infinite rows of reality where all of us exist, and vice versa for all of us.
Right, right. Ones where Nathan doesn't exist, and ones where you don't exist, but he and I do, and are friends. And so I get that. I get
exactly.
That,
my parents met in college, so there's a reality where they didn't meet, and I don't exist. You know, tough. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I don't know exactly how that would work for me, because I'm not exactly sure what my true origin story is as far as that goes. I have some ideas, and I have the story I was told, and neither one are like each other. So,
right,
what the actual truth is, I don't know.
But anyway, for me, Nathan, for even though for many people, knowing that there's infinity makes them nihilistic, knowing that there's infinity makes me existentialistic. It tells me that everything does matter. Because if there's infinite versions of everything that we care about, value, and know, then that means that we matter. Honestly.
Yeah,
so it has the opposite effect for me.
I'm all for doing anything the opposite of Dan Harmon. Actually, I fucking hate him. He's a prick.
I think he's okay. He has issues, but
this is the guy who said he thought like more than half the country were Nazis? Isn't that him?
Or Nazis? He wants to live in a country where Nazis, what?
Yeah. Dan Harmon said like he believed 2/3 of the country were Nazis. And he went on this rant, and I'm like, fuck you. I now don't want to watch Rick and Morty anymore.
And Dan Harmon always goes on rants. He went on a rant about why Superman sucks, or at least that's why he thinks Superman sucks. I don't know, Dan Harmon's rants, they don't really faze me.
Oh, well, Dan Harmon, if you ever happen to hear this, Rick and Morty sucks. It's pretentious horse shit.
Well, I like Rick and Morty. It has problems, but I like it.
All right, I got a terrible, terrible joke for you guys.
Oh,
what
boy.
does the Gestapo and a bus full of blind people have in common?
I don't know.
They're both full of Nazis. Not see, you're blind.
Ah, that's clever.
No, it's not. It's just I was sitting here and we're talking about this, and I don't know why that just occurred to me. It was the worst joke I've ever told, but I figured give it the light of day. Maybe it wasn't so bad. It was bad. It was terrible. I'll admit it.
Oh.
Nazis. Jesus. What was I thinking?
But Nathan, I'm wondering, dude, does knowing that there's infinite versions of everything, including you, why would that make you have an identity crisis?
Because if there's multiple me's like that, then I'm like, what's the point of me doing the shit I do?
Well, I mean, simple, dude. You're you. This is your unique world. This is where you get to do what you want to do, or do what you need to do. It's really up to you, man. But the point is that
if I'm these assholes, and the thing is, if I met one of these assholes, it'd be like when Angel finally can punch Angelus. I'll be like, I've been waiting a long time for this.
Well, who knows, Nathan? Maybe there's another doppelganger. Or sorry, you want to go first, Phil?
No, go ahead, finish, because I'm just starting a new thought.
Okay. So even if there's a new doppelganger or variant version of you, Nathan, maybe you'll like them. You never know.
Okay, unless they help me constructively, I'm like, you're dead weight. Get lost.
Oh, fuck. Honestly, I just want to see Nathan meet hippie Nathan. That'll be fun.
Yeah. I would pay folding money to see that.
Huh? What did you say, Nathan?
I said I'm going to jail if I meet a hippie version of me.
Oh, you're going to kill him?
Dude, no, I would pay folding money just to watch it go down. Yeah, of course, no, you wouldn't go to jail because I wouldn't let you kill you.
Honestly, okay, I'd be like, Nathan, Phil, meet hippie Nathan and objectivist Phil. That'll be fun.
Objectivist. I'm already
objectivist version of me. I would respect that. If there's a version of me that's an objectivist, I'd be like, all right, I respect you.
Yeah, well, he probably won't respect you if you're not objective. Okay, that was a joke.
Yeah, bro. I know it was a joke. It was a bad joke, but still a joke.
Yeah. No, but for me, man, I there are some objectivists that tell me that if this is all true, then to them they can't be objectivists anymore, because from their logic, if there's infinite versions of everything, there's infinite realities where they're right and wrong, which just undoes objectivism entirely. But I disagree. I believe that each reality has its specific version of objectivism. And in that reality, there's other versions of objectivism based on the reality itself. So to me, as much as you could dismantle objectivism with this, you could also, you could also keep it solid. There are no bounds with infinity.
I would say it doesn't disprove objectivism for me. It would ratify it. Because
I mean, it doesn't. Oh, you go first, Nathan.
I would say it doesn't really disprove objectivism for me. It would be more like an affirming. It would be like, look, even in a reality where there's infinite realities, there's infinite versions of you, an objectivist is still admirable and needed, because despite knowing that what they do may not matter, they will still stay objective. I find that admirable.
Well, look, I mean, who? I mean, I don't get why people think infinity means what you do doesn't matter. I mean, you could believe that, but honestly, if, like I said, if infinity exists and you doing the same thing happens on an infinite scale, then wouldn't that prove that there is meaning to what you do? Like, actually think about it. I mean, people often say more is good. Some people say less is good, but more than likely, people often say is more is good. People want more of their values. People want, oh shit, I don't know what
Oh boy.
Yeah, people want more of their values. People want more of their beliefs. People want more of their beliefs, across the world. Yet the concept of infinity meaning that there's literally more of them on an infinite scale. It makes them think that it doesn't mean anything. And it's a weird thing, man. Like, it's like a contradiction. It's like you believe more. Oh, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure objectivists hate contradiction.
Well, of course they do. They're objectivists. But the point I'm trying to make, here, Nathan, is that if there's infinity, that means that all the infinite realities where you're wrong doesn't matter, because there's infinite realities where you're right. So at the end of the day, why bitch? It's like, okay.
Oh no, this isn't something to bitch about. It's something to be fascinated by.
Yeah.
Like, I would just want a teleportation device that allows me to visit each of these multiverses. I just want to see what each one is like.
Well, I mean, look, we're human, so we have limitations. We couldn't see everything. Infinity, like, I think the only beings that could see infinity are gods, or a god, But I believe in
I just want to go to whatever reality it is that everybody talks in song. Not like musical, but like music.
What, so like Elvis shit, like in Lord of the Rings?
Kind of that, yet it starts off that way, because if you read the Silmarillion, you read at the beginning that was the original language of the world, was music. And yeah, something like that, where you can convey your feeling and thoughts through music.
I don't know. I get annoyed if I was in that reality for too long. There's only so much singing I can take. It's why I don't watch musicals that much anymore.
Well, oh shit.
What?
Nothing. I thought I'd change the video I was watching.
Oh.
Apparently Critical Drinker put up why modern movies suck, the myth of modern audience.
Oh, I remember that. Isn't that an oldie? I think that video came out a while ago.
You just posted like, no, the modern audience is an ass. Like, it's an asterisk, it's a lie, a fabrication, an excuse to bitch and moan and make shitty products. That's not even half decent. I actually tried making a video about that, but it just devolved into me ranting about critics.
Right.
And saying, look, these critics, they're pricks. They're cunts. They're assholes. They were never in danger of doing anything creative. Like, they have not been useful since the days of Siskel and Ebert.
Honestly, there are some things I disagree with the Critical Drinker on. Like, one, he thinks the fight in the prequel trilogy is bad. I disagree with him. I think the fight in the prequel trilogies, all the fights are good. Two, he doesn't like the Star Trek Kelvin movies. I actually do. I do agree with him that the new shows are ass. They are, but the Kelvin movies are pretty good in my opinion. So we disagree with that too. So it's like, I don't agree with him on everything.
The other thing about Critical Drinker, if you hear this, you are dead wrong about the prequels. I will fight you over this.
Dude,
the only thing about the Kelvin trilogy that I didn't like was that I was able to predict every beat in Into Darkness. But that was I predicted the whole thing.
Hang on. I also want to say, Critical Drinker.
But you also got to think, Critical Drinker, if you hear this, so.
Critical Drinker, if you hear this and decide to kick my ass, just do me a favor, try to kill me. That's all I ask.
Well, okay, Nathan. I think that's a bit far, but dude.
Also, he has one other thing. He's also said one other thing I disagree with. It's about Blade. I'm like, what's wrong with techno music?
I guess it's just not his thing. I don't know.
I know, but just because it's not one person A's thing doesn't mean person B or C won't like it, and I like it. So, Critical Drinker, you were dead-ass wrong here. You are more wrong than Ebert and Siskel about horror films. That's actually a pretty Or no, you're more wrong than Ebert about Clint Eastwood's Dirty Harry. That's how wrong you are on that one. But anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, my only thing is, I don't know.
It's like the joke that Deadpool uses about dubstep. I think that's all it really is. It's just one of those things you throw into a movie to, just to get people talking.
Yeah. So, but I do like Critical Drinkers videos. Like, he's not one of my favorite YouTubers. Like, he's not in the top 3, but he's definitely someone I would like. If I met this guy, I would like to pick his brain about story structure. I would like to talk to him about that.
You know who you could also talk to about that? Dan Harmon. Because Dan Harmon follows a version of the hero's journey.
Yeah, no, I would sooner cut my own nose off out of spite than talk to him.
Wow, damn. You really do hate him.
I'm sorry, but I hate these never Trumpers to a very passionate degree. Like, I get it. Trump is not for everyone, but at the same time, just because you hate doesn't mean you condemn his fan base.
Well, to be fair, Nathan, I'm also a never Trumper because I'm a never everything. It's like, fuck politics. Do you hate me?
No, you're a never everyone, so you don't count.
Okay, I guess so.
But yeah,
my bone to pick with that whole thing isn't per se Trump. It isn't per se his quote unquote fans. It's the crazy lying bullshit that they espouse that drives me nuts. That's
let's not get into that. I was just making up a point.
Exactly. That's not
to Harmon. That's why I will never talk to him. If I met him, I would probably walk in the other direction and never look back.
My wife's boss was a Trump supporter, and I like the guy. And beyond politics, we have lots we talk about.
Oh shit, Nathan! Imagine a reality where everyone likes Trump, but you.
Sometimes I wondered if I already lived in that reality.
I mean, I would be fine with that reality. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Yes, because like Trump, for all his faults when he was president, I didn't really have a problem with the way things were going.
Now, Nathan, remember how you said you can't take these never Trumpers? In that reality right now, you're like, I can't take these always Trumpers. They always piss me off. I hate Trump. And Dan Harmon's the worst of them because he never shuts up about Trump either.
No, I'd have been like this. If I met that version of me, I'd be like, look, shut up, old man. I don't care what you say. There's a thing called hole. Crawl into one.
I hate Dan Harmon because he said 2/3 of the country were fucking communists. That alt-right bigot. This is gonna be funny. Oh my god.
That would be funny. Just imagine me making an unarticulated anti-MAGA rant. That like I'm not good with making rants with unless I have something written down.
Yeah.
But imagine that, but it's like the opposite of me. Everything like a version of me that's fine with propaganda by the lamestream media and game journalists being more inept than Siskel and Ebert when talking about good films.
That's gonna be so fucking funny.
Hey Nate, I think your notifications are going batshit again.
I think they are, yeah.
Yeah, it's for Twitter.
Yeah.
Top 10 Morgan Freeman movies. Okay, I need to check this out.
I think my favorite would be my two favorites would be the Nolan movies and the Bruce Almighty movies. I think he does great in those.
My favorite one is Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, that's a damn good one, actually. Good.
I love Shawshank, dude.
Love Shawshank, yeah. The ending made me cry.
Yeah, I'm like, this is like one of those few things where my hopeful side comes out. It's like, okay, this is why I say dare to hope, or I would like to say dare to hope, because
I read the book.
Pessimistic age.
All I can say is that when I saw the movie, I said to myself, finally, someone got a movie right. Because it, to me, had that, it may not have been verbatim the book, but it has so much of the spirit of it. It was like, yes. I watched it twice in a row. It was that good.
Well, I heard someone that read the book told me an interesting thing about the book is that it's ambiguous whether Dufresne actually killed his wife. Like, it's not clear.
It is very, very duplicitous in that way. King leaves you wondering at the end of it, did a bad man just escape from prison? You know, you actually ask yourself at the end, did someone who deserved to be locked up just free themselves? Should I be scared? But of course, it's a book and it's fiction, so you're not really scared. But then you got to think to yourself,
yeah,
what reality did this actually happen?
I can't tell you how many people have said that to Stephen King, dude. Like, honestly, he figures out a way to make a fictional story scary.
Yeah, you know what I like about Shawshank Redemption? The fact the adult for got what she deserved. I wish we could.
My favorite part of the movie is when they roll up the one guard and right they're outside and the reporters are right there and he's all, I heard he cried when they put him in handcuffs. I'm fucking laughing, dude. I'm like, that so makes sense. Because, I mean, someone like him is about power and authority. And when that's not only stripped away, but reversed completely, yeah, it'll break a man.
I prefer the movie version where he just shoots himself in the fucking head. Like,
not him, the main guard, not the warden. The one that was played by Clancy Brown, dude.
Right.
Yeah, that guy. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Clancy Brown is a good antagonist. Like, he is really good at playing antagonists.
He's a good protagonist too, dude. I loved him in Starship Troopers, straight up.
That was kind of funny where he went from a drill instructor to soldier. I thought that was funny. Like, he gave up his position, got demoted just so he could fight.
So he could go out and fight. Yeah, that's I think, and he does it convincingly. Not only does he done convincingly, but he actually turns out to be a hero. You're like, oh, right on. Drill Sergeant Zim.
So yeah, there's that.
It's Private Zim now. Hell yeah. Clancy Brown's been in a lot of things that he always brings this sort of he was in The Crown. He played Lyndon Johnson, dude, and he was badass.
I liked him in The Highlander and the Bounty Hunter game.
Oh, dude, yes, him in The Highlander, absolutely. There can be only one. God, that big voice of his.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What about you, Dan? You got a favorite Clancy Brown movie or game?
Well, I know this will sound silly and generic, but I like him as Mr. Krabs and I like him as Lex Luthor.
Dude, yeah, as Mr. Krabs, that's something.
Yeah. Yes, I forgot he played Lex Luthor. He is such a fantastic Lex Luthor.
I love the way he tells. Oh, I love the way he tells the question. He was like, "President, do you know how much money I would lose? I would lose trying to become president." And then he slaps him. That was awesome.
Yeah, I like the part where he goes, "We really could have like the Grog's like we really had some, didn't we?" And he's like, "Maybe, but why speak ill of the dead?"
Yeah.
Like, there's a disconnect there for me because for a long time I didn't know he voiced Mr. Krabs. And then I saw that picture. I was like, Kurgan? The Kurgan is the voice for Mr. Krabs? There was that disconnect there. But ever since, now I can't hear Mr. Krabs' voice without seeing his face in my head.
It's just like finding out the dub voice actress for Naruto also played Principal Perry in Lab Rats. It's so weird. You guys probably don't know what I'm talking about.
In Lab Rats, I've heard of it, but that's all I have. I heard of it.
Okay. You don't know what I'm talking about either, do you, Nathan?
Hey, guys, I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah, sure, man. I'll be back in a minute, too. I'm going to be on mute. I got to go take care of something.
Yep. I'm going to go check the mail.
All right, you go do that.
All right, am I the first one back? I think so. Remember, 5th of November. 48 hours from now.
All right, I'm back. You guys there?
Yep.
Ah, that's loud. Okay, sorry, I had to help my stepdad get a tractor down. So, Lex Luthor is Clancy Brown is the best Lex Luthor for me. The only other time I've liked it was when actually no, that's it. No one else has done a better Lex Luthor than Clancy Brown.
No one?
I don't think anyone has topped his performance. I just liked his voice for the role so much. Is Phil here?
Phil, did you go anywhere?
Guess he stepped away.
I'm here.
Okay, yeah. If y'all want to end this, just let me know.
No, it wasn't that. I was actually looking at a website, and for some reason, it just completely cut my mic and everything. So when you guys asked if I was still here, I actually had to turn that off and come back here in order to get it to work again. I don't know why.
Okay, because we got another hour to burn through.
All right, so I guess I'm here for another hour. All right.
Speaking of DC and multiverses, what's the best multiverse story for Marvel and DC in y'all's opinion?
Legends of Tomorrow.
The original Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Okay, I take it back what Dan said, because that definitely showed its two possibilities.
I prefer
you do know I'm talking about the comic, right?
Yes, it doesn't matter. I read the comic.
I prefer Injustice. I'm not gonna lie. Even though Clancy Brown's not involved.
I don't know. I was not really fond of the Injustice storyline like most people were. I mean, I don't know. The minute that the Joker fucking murdered Lois Lane, dude, I knew that was going to go down a dark road I really didn't want to see. Turns out I was right.
Oh yeah, the only thing I like about Injustice is it gave people the chance to play as Red Hood in a fighting game.
Right.
Well,
I was actually talking about the comics.
Oh, I like the comics too. I remember Comic Story did videos on them. They were awesome.
They were extremely dark.
Well, yeah, it's a dark version of DC.
Yeah,
you mean the dark multiverse, right? With the Batman Who Laughs.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I love those. Like, look, as much as I criticize modern comics, the Batman Who Laughs was a great addition. If you ask me. The irony though is that Bats apparently he doesn't like the Batman Who Laughs. To him, it's just another version of the Joker. Which I could say, yeah, it is a bit of another version, but it's a creative spin on it, if you ask me.
Okay, I take it back and I take it back. Flashpoint.
Flashpoint is your favorite?
Yeah, we got to see the Thomas Wayne Batman.
Okay, fair enough.
And that was just something like that's out of left field and very cool.
But there's a major difference between parallel universes and alternate timelines. You know, it's like, yeah, they're similar.
I know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're similar, but and they're both in the multiverse category. Don't get me wrong, but it's that, you know, an alternate timeline where this stream ended early, and we all decided to go on about our lives, isn't the same as a reality where we're all fish and we're just, you know, swimming through the sea.
Well,
yeah.
Hey guys, can you get a drink? Can I go get a drink real quick?
Yeah, sure, man. Go ahead.
All right, you continue this conversation without me.
Without you? What, you're leaving for good?
No, I'm getting a drink. Continue talking without me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, sure. There's with a multiverse with other universes. There's infinite versions of everything. So there's no bounds of limitations with endless multiverses. But when it comes to alternate timelines, there are set limitations for each timeline. Now, don't get me wrong. You can make unlimited timelines if you want. You could just completely crack the time stream and just make as many what-if scenarios as you want. But each timeline still has its own limitations because it's still connected to the universe that it was formed in. It's just, you know, an alternate timeline.
All right, so let's talk about a type of paradox for a second because, all right, so you got someone who invents a machine that they can go back and, you know, alter the events of their life, right? So they start doing that. And as we know, when they do, they start to kind of fracture the time-space continuum because they're creating alternate possibilities that might not have existed as fully before or might have been fully explored, but ended in a really bad dead end. So you got someone who's like, oh, well, I don't like that, and I'm going to go back and change it this way, or I'm going to go back and change it this way, and you keep going back and keep changing it. Do you think that in itself can cause a universe to cease to exist?
Well, if we're going by the rules of the Omniverse, which is infinity, then yeah, somewhere.
You know what DC multiverse I'd like to visit? The one where Red Hood and Nightwing are best friends. That'd be funny to see.
I mean, there's lots of runs where they get along, I'm sure. I gotta look back, but
I know that's getting along. That's begrudgingly tolerating each other. I mean, one where they're actually like friends. That'd be funny to see. It'd be so weird.
I don't remember if there is a reality. I'm sorry, I don't remember. I don't think Nightwing and Red Hood hate each other. I think they have issues, but I don't think they hate each other.
Oh no, Red Hood obviously cares about Nightwing. Like when he comes back from being Agent Grayson, he's pissed at Dick for him lying to them. Basically, like you don't do that to your. He almost said brother. Basically, he says you don't do that to your fellow Robins.
Right. I mean, hell, if I remember correctly, Damian Wayne was pissed off when Dick Grayson got killed.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not talking about fucking Injustice. I'm talking about like the Rebirth events.
Oh, it happened in Rebirth too, did it?
Yeah, I just like the way Red Hood's dynamic is with the Bat family. It's just like, as I've said before, he's like the Bat. He is to the Bat family what Batman is to the Justice League. He used to be the Edgelord. So it's like, I like the way people perceive him in the Bat family. He's like the black sheep. I love it.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he has plans for taking out the Bat family at some point. Like, if they went evil. I
mean, probably. I mean, look, if Batman has like literal procedures for the Justice League and procedures for himself, then it's likely that he'll have the Bat family do it as well, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
Yeah, Red Hood would probably be the last person they'd go to for advice, because I think his plan is usually just to attack.
Well, Red Hood can come up with strategies, but he's more aggressive based. He doesn't care much for, at least in most versions, he doesn't seem to care much for planning. He cares more for results. Which
he's the Raphael to Nightwing's Leonardo, basically.
Hey, that's a good analogy.
Like, I'm serious. Like, I seriously believe that. Like, let's say you take all the former Robins and you make them into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Nightwing is Leo. Red Hood is Ralph. I'm going to assume the third Robin. I forget his name at the moment. He'd be like the smart one. I forget his name. Donatello or Michelangelo. I forget which one.
Donatello and Michelangelo. Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, and Michelangelo.
Yeah, whoever the smart one is, that's what the third Robin would be. And whoever's the fourth dumb one, that's probably Damien or Batgirl.
I mean, one, Damien and Michelangelo they're not that similar at all. Honestly,
well, that's the best way I can think to describe it. Like, Nightwing is like Leo, and Red Hood is like Ralph. That's the best way I can look at it.
Oh, that's fine.
And I would hate to piss Ralph off, because I think at one point he broke Leo's swords.
Oh, you're referring to the iconic. Well, no, it's not iconic. It's underrated, but it's one of my favorite. The 2000s movie, TMNT. That's what it's called, TMNT.
Yeah, the only Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie I've seen is the live action one, where they fight him and Shredder gets and the pier collapses on top of the Shredder.
Right.
That's the only one I've seen. But yeah, and I would hate to piss off the Red Hood, because that's like the Punisher for DC, or he used to be.
Well, people have said that, and they're not wrong. They're not too far off, because the Punisher and the Red Hood have similar mindset. But Red Hood, at least, look, if we're talking modern Red Hood and modern Punisher, Red Hood is still on his journey of, I want to stop crime, and I believe by killing, I'm doing it. Modern Punisher, they've deconstructed him so much in the comics that now it's not even really about crime or morality anymore. It's just because he wants to. He loves doing it. That's it. It's like he wants to kill. He loves killing. That's his whole reasoning. It's like originally it was based on morality and crime. But eventually, after they've deconstructed the character so much, now it's like, I just do it because I have a fixation of killing those who harm others. So
this is why I hate deconstructions. It's like an asinine thing that people do now.
I like deconstructions if handled well, but I got two issues. One, the deconstructions need to be handled well, and two, you can't do them all the fucking time. Like, I'm tired. Like, they've done deconstructions so fucking much, they're getting bored. Do something else. I don't know, make a reconstruction. I want to see a character lose hope and then build themselves back up. Like Into the Spider-Verse.
I just want to see Red Hood go back to using guns, because that was his shtick. Now he has no shtick to go back on.
Well, I mean, honestly, why instead of having him like tell Batman I'm done killing or whatever, instead of doing that, why not have it that he's like, okay, I'm not gonna kill people all the time. It's like, I'll kill people occasionally, but I'm gonna try to, like have him tell Batman, I'm not gonna kill people all the time. I'll kill people if I really have to, but he tells Bruce this: if someone deserves to die, they deserve to die. I'm not.
The situation where when the story that led him not to say he's not killing anymore, the situation that led where he killed someone that he regretted, that time he was out of his control. The guy who he killed had it coming and was kind of instigating it. So it was more of that guy's fault. He got shot over Red Hoods. Like, I've barely read anything on the comic, but I know what happens in it. So I don't really blame Red Hood for that situation, and I blame Batman for being an asshat to him over it.
And it's just like what Bats says. Bats believes that Batman has been ruined by DC. Me personally, to me, they haven't ruined Batman until Batman Fortress. That's when they ruined them. They ruined him around Batman Fortress because to me, it's like, okay, he's going to swing by, let looters and rioters attack the streets of Gotham and steal shit because he believes the system cheated them. I'm like, no, he's Batman. It doesn't matter if he agrees with what they're doing or not. Crime is crime. I know this because he goes after all sorts of crime, even purse snatchers. There was a comic where a purse snatcher was running away and Batman grabbed him, and the purse snatcher was like, I thought you only went after the big criminals, the big supervillains. He's like, and Batman was like, no crime is beneath my jurisdiction. It's like, that's Batman. Him letting just some crime happen, it breaks the character. Sorry, I went on a bit of a rant there.
No, go for it. I changed the title of the stream. It now says the Multiverse and comics. So yeah, rant away.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like my issue is that look. You want to do deconstructions or all sorts of bullshit, fine, but don't change the fundamentals of these characters to the point where they're not themselves anymore. Like Batman sitting. Oh, I'm sorry. What were we gonna say?
Yeah, I hate deconstruction. There's only one story where I tolerate deconstruction, and that's Watchmen, and that's because it was made to be a deconstruction of heroes. It was meant to destroy the concept of being a hero. That is what it was intended to fucking do. What these asshats who have gotten a hold of Red Hood and Batman are doing, like, that's not fundamentally who the character is. It's not how they were meant to operate. It's not how they were meant to be done. And I'm like, fuck me. These people are pissheads who have no idea what they're doing. They're bastardizing characters people have loved for years, and they're getting away with it. Like, they fuck people out of money and get away with it. Excuse me?
I don't know. I mean, to me, dude, quite honestly, dude, if you ask me, Nathan, I don't mind these things if they're handled well, but that's my issue. They're not handled well now. They're ruined. They're ruining shit.
Yeah, like these people
being sacrificed for bullshit modern wokeness. It's killing everything.
Yeah, they will fuck you in the ass and then demand you say thank you for it. Like, this is what they did to Mark Hamill, basically. They ruined a character they basically ruined his magnum opus character. They humiliated him and then acted like they deserved a standing ovation.
Yeah.
And I say, no, motherfuckers, you don't deserve a standing ovation. You deserve a standing on your neck.
I don't know. It just amazes me, how, people are just going to accept it. Like, Ewan McGregor, love the dude. It's like, he knows that they changed the Kenobi show. It was originally supposed to be about him spending time with Luke, which makes sense because he lives on Tatooine. But they change it to him spending time with Leia, which makes no sense because Obi-Wan and Leia
it makes sense.
Never meet.
It makes sense in the woke agenda. If you know the woke agenda, these motherfuckers want everything to be female-oriented and centered. So yes, of course they were going to bring Leia into the picture.
Sure. Yeah, that's a problem. I get that. And I get they're doing it for that stupid reason. But I get that. But it's like, even though the actress of Leia, she was good. And her chemistry with Ewan McGregor, I think, was fine. Not just was the writing bad, but it was pointless. And it contradicts so much lore. The Empire knowing Obi-Wan is alive and Obi-Wan and Vader fighting, it's like, this shit does not happen. When Vader says that he hasn't sensed a presence so long and all that bullshit, it's because he knows that he never saw Obi-Wan again until Mustafar. The Empire thinks Obi-Wan's long gone and possibly dead and they're not searching for him. If they knew Obi-Wan was alive 10 years before A New Hope, then they'd be looking everywhere for him.
Yeah, but they don't care about lore. They break it like, they break it like a black man having sex with an Asian, basically.
They break
it,
dude.
Wow, dude. What the fuck, Nathan?
You know this, so why are you still asking questions?
I don't know. Every time you do it, it just catches me off guard, and it's stupid because I know that you do this. It's like I repeatedly get punched in the face, and then it's like I stand up to get punched again. It makes no fucking sense.
Oh yeah. It's like I tell a joke, and I'm like, "Why do you keep making me hit you?"
Exactly. But it's like,
why do how do you not see this coming? This is me we're talking about. Like, this is like a wife beater coming home beating his wife, and the wife is surprised because she's had this done 3 times already this month. You'd think she'd be used to it by now.
Yeah, fair enough, I guess. I don't think people can get numb to punches in the face. Because at some point, they're going to say...
They can get numb to jokes, though. They can get numb to jokes. And I have told my fair share of fucked up jokes. Like my favorite one, Normie Solution. That is a joke I will never get tired of.
You should use that for stand-up.
Which, by the way, anyone who sees this who has no idea what I'm talking about, I did a video called The Normie Solution. It was a vlog. Go watch it. If you want to know the joke, here it is. The way you treat normies who want to ruin things is this. You treat them to the hospitality of a white guy in South Africa. Anyone who knows what's going on in South Africa, you'll get the joke.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to hell for that.
No fucking idea.
I don't know. I think normies. I had nothing against normies. I was a normie once, and in some fandoms, I'm still a normie. So I don't have any. I don't have any. My wife is a normie in the manner of speaking. She's a casual Star Wars fan, so.
But is she a prick about it?
I don't get how they could love probably the greatest thing ever like I do, but
okay, again, you want to hear a shitty joke, Phil?
Heard plenty today. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't know many. I don't know many women who aren't casual Star Wars fans.
God. Yeah, Phil. The problem is not normies. Like, I'm technically half normie. Like, I am a normie.
Give you an example of a hardcore female fan. Marry him.
Yeah, but Phil, here's what I was going to say.
She's an exception, though.
Marion is still learning, though.
Yeah, here's the thing, though, for me. Is like, not all normies are bad. I technically am a normie. I get into stuff because it's positive. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that separates me from these piss heads that are ruining everything. I don't think anything's changed. I either like something or I walk away from it. That's what normies should be doing, not demanding it be changed and watered down for bullshit reasons.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was a normie as a kid, but, for me, I didn't want to change something to suit me. I just want to learn more about it.
Yeah, I was always the kind of person to take something apart to understand it. Not that I could always get it back together, but the point was I didn't want to change how it worked. I wanted to understand how it works. So, yeah, I totally am with that idea. It's a curiosity more than it is a demand for control.
Well, the thing is, dude, is
you want to know what the parts do instead of telling the parts what they should be doing.
Before I go around wanting to give my own opinion, before I go around wanting to give my own opinions on how something should be, first I want to learn about it. So it's like, yeah, I got my own opinions on stuff like Star Wars and DC and Marvel, which are different from everyone else's, but I had to learn about it first before I started giving them.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of the same way. I mean, my parents told me when I was a kid that the fool is the person that opens their mouth to speak about something and has no idea what they're talking about. Or as my dad used to say in a much shorter version, you don't know how dumb a person is until they open their mouth.
Who's more foolish, the fool or the
fool
person
who follows him?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
yeah.
You know what? Ben's got a point. I think the fool who follows him is actually the more foolish person.
Yeah, this is why I don't like Disney fans. Like the ones who are Disney fans and then complain about what Disney does. I'm like, This is like me, a straight guy, going to a gay bar looking for a woman today, and then being disappointed there's no women around.
Well, hey, wait, hey, I added to that joke one time. I was like, of course there's gonna be women around Nathan, but they're lesbians.
Yeah, they ain't gonna
I know, like, there's nothing but. Actually, I probably shouldn't say that word, but anyway.
Yeah, you should. I already know what you're gonna say. Don't.
Yeah.
That way we don't get canceled accidentally.
Yeah, but yet, there's women around, but they're all fans of carpet. So yeah, there's no point in talking to them.
Who knows? Maybe you got some female followers, dude.
You know what's funny about that is that I've had some conversations with lesbians about certain aspects, and it's like they still sometimes can look at you like you are such a guy, and yeah, I don't understand what they're talking about, but they find it apparently funny. So that we enjoy the same things, and yet there's things about this thing I enjoy so much that I still don't understand, and they do. It's kind of a point of hilarity between us, Is that weird? I mean, I actually found humor in it. Phil, you do know more, but
Phil, dude, you just gave me an idea for the next topic of discussion. How do you guys, since we're talking about the multiverse and everything, how do you guys feel about gender bent versions of us?
I'm not gonna lie. If I met a woman version of me, I'd be going base and bitch slapping her. I'd be acting like a Muslim.
All I can say is I have already met the female version of me.
Your wife?
The one who gave me life.
Oh, your mom. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I'd be bitch slapping the female version of me. Like,
and
you
yet
look ugly as hell.
I'm still a lot like my dad. And I guess in that way,
you know what, Nathan, if you bitch slap the female version of you, if she becomes a raging feminist, you only have yourself to blame.
Wouldn't that be fucking ironic up the street?
If I find a female version of me who's a feminist, I'm gonna slap them just as hard. Like, why you make me hit you? Huh? Why you hurt me, stupid?
Also in that multiverse, she's a multi-black belt. So who's kicking who's ass?
Oh yeah, that would be unpleasant.
Dude, how would you feel about getting tossed around by yourself, dude? Man, that would be so weird.
Honestly,
like I'm kicking my own ass. Do you mind?
I'd be embarrassed and impressed at the same fucking time. Like,
that's what I mean.
Exactly.
You'd be like, well, fuck, I kicked my own ass.
In reality, when there's a version of this company,
what did you say, Nathan?
I'd be like, as soon as they threw me across the room and kicked my ass, I'm like, hold up. I'm getting kicked in the ass by a version of me that actually knows what the fuck they're doing. I can decide if I'm disappointed or proud.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, there's Bruce.
Yay. Hang on. There he is.
Yeah.
How's it going, gentlemen?
Hey, guys.
You got 30 minutes left.
Don't let me down, Bruce.
Is that a song reference?
Yes, it was. Don't bring me down, ELO.
Oh, classic. Hey, how about the one of how about the one that's called "We Just Disagree"? I like that song. There ain't no good guy. There ain't no bad guy.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Now I know what song you're talking about.
You want to know the funny part, Phil?
Isn't that James Taylor or some shit?
Maybe. You want to know the funny part, Phil? Apparently, the guy who made that song, he had a lot of fights with his wife and his boss, so he made that song.
Okay, so yeah, Bruce, we were talking about multiverses. You got a favorite multiverse? What the fuck?
Favorite multiverse would probably be DC.
Oh, which multiverse? The main one or a different one?
Well, they're all the same thing in DC. All the multiverses are connected. So if you just say DC multiverse, it's all connected. Though if I were to pick like a non-comic book universe, somewhat multiverse, it would probably be either, well, Star Wars is technically a comic, but also I was going to say the other one is Warhammer. I'd probably say Warhammer 40K, but if eliminate the comic aspect, it would probably be either Star Wars and then Warhammer 40K.
Okay.
And I like Warhammer, but I'm not that. I'm still like I'm like still a novice when breaking into Warhammer. I have more knowledge of Warhammer Fantasy than I do of Warhammer 40K.
Yeah, I played a Warhammer Fantasy game once. I didn't do so well in it. It was Necromunda, I think.
I got into Warhammer Fantasy from my friend who got me into Vermintide. And Vermintide is like Left 4 Dead, but if Left 4 Dead were in a fantasy in the 18th century. So like their guns are primitive weapons. They're very the gameplay of the game is ranged weapons are scarce, and everything comes down to melee essentially. But that was my introduction, and then from there I went into what's the other game? Total War. There's a Warhammer mod for it. It's not it's actual mod. It's actual DLC. It's not like a fan made. Me and my buddy would play, and he would just download lore to my brain about all of the characters, and it's a fascinating world. It's very fascinating. It's part of what helps open my eye to like pushing boundaries and trying new things. And then in 40K, when I was a kid, we used to play Dawn of War 3, Dark Crusade. And most people will tell you that's like the best Dawn of War game. At least I'm pretty sure most people would agree that that's like the best, like solid game. But then I've played about 2 or 3 years ago, I played for the first time Space Marine, which that's a great game. It's came out in like 2013, so it's a little dated, but it's a callback to when video games were simpler and you only had 4 buttons. I mean, it's a great game, absolutely fantastic. A little hard to figure out going backwards because like once you realize it's an old game that you only have 3 buttons or 4 buttons, you're like, oh, I got this. This is easy. But you gotta train your brain to that thinking, because a lot of modern games, they have like 50 million buttons to do 50 million things under 50 million circumstances, rather than just I squeeze trigger, thing go boom.
Yeah, I played one Warhammer game one time. It was called Space Marine. But I never finished it. I only played the demo.
That's probably the game I was just talking about.
Oh, yeah, that's what you're talking about? Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about a different one.
No, it sounds like the same one. It's fantastic. If you haven't gotten Space Marine, it comes on sale very often because it's an old game. But if you have a chance of picking it up for like $6 or whatever, it's worth it. It's really worth it.
It looks funny because I remember Russian Badger did a video on it. He had a mod where it was like a blood crypt marine you're playing as, and he's like trash talking, and he had all these funny lines. Like one was "Even gods may die." I love that one. And he actually had this one joke he put in, where it was like hippity hoppity, where the fuck is my property?
Well, like my friend, what got me into the game was he said, "Wait till you get the Thunder Hammer." And I was it's like, what do you mean? He's like, just play it until you get the Thunder Hammer, and if you don't do anything else in the game after that, that's fine. So I was like, okay. So I kept playing. You get the Thunder Hammer like a third of the way through the game. And so I'm playing this. I'm getting annoyed and frustrated because I haven't figured out that it's an old school game where there's only 4 buttons. And so I'm getting frustrated. And finally I get the Thunder Hammer. And I'm just destroying everything. And I'm like, okay, I can see why he said wait to get the Thunder Hammer. Because now this game is worth it. And like the Thunder Hammer was like opening that third eye for that game where it's like, oh, okay, it's a very simple game.
Okay, yeah, that sounds funny. Like just hearing someone say the name of the weapon, Thunderhammer. That reminds me of when.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Yeah, that was Red Faction had a weapon like a unicorn that shot rainbows out its ass. I'm like, both sound ridiculous in concept, but then you use it, it's like, oh, this ain't ridiculous. It's fantastic.
You guys are talking about Thor: Love and Thunder?
No.
Okay.
Talking about Warhammer Space Marine.
Oh, okay. Hey Phil, you doing all right?
Yeah, I was actually.
You heard my shitty joke, right? Before I disappeared.
Yeah.
It's still funny. I'll never get over that.
Hey, I have to go take my dog out real quick. If
Actually, guys, I'm gonna bow out. I need to go lay down for a while, so I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, you get some rest, dude.
He just
I
bailed.
have to take my dog out. Can y'all talk for a bit while I'm out?
Oh yeah, sure.
All right, be right back.
So you aren't big on anything in Warhammer, right, Dan?
My friends are trying to get me into it, but I don't know. It's like I'm thinking about it. I looked at some stuff. I'm like, this looks cool, but I don't know. I just need something to push me into it, like you did with Stargate when I watched the movie.
Yeah, Warhammer is huge. So you got to treat it like comic books where you just jump in.
Right.
For me, I picked up I got on Humble Bundle, they had this giant sale for Warhammer stuff.
Yeah.
Audiobooks. And so I got that. And so I have like a fuck ton of audiobooks for Warhammer. I haven't gotten around to listening to many of them. I've only listened to like 2 of them. The main one being, and most people would recommend, or at least the people I trust recommend, this is where you come into Warhammer, would be, or at least 40K, would be the Horus Heresy and the Sword of Truth about Nathaniel Garrow. Fantastic story. It's fantastic sci-fi. It's a little melodramatic and over the top. Like in Warhammer, or 40K, I should say, in 40K, all right, the Space Marines, because they're a communist organization, they will fight each other over the dumbest shit. But it's all to prove loyalty, which is why it's the communist test. It's the litmus test of, okay, you claim to serve the emperor, but if you did, you would back up your words with your blade and put your life on the line to prove you are actually serving the emperor. So every little thing everyone does comes down to, are you willing to put your life on the line? If not, you're a traitor and you should die. And if so, then you'd be willing to kill or fight to survive to support and back up your claims.
Right.
And it's absolutely insane. It's maddening. It makes no sense. But you also, like, Nathaniel Garrow is an outlier. He's a hero in the story. And the gist of that story is there's a traitor on a ship. And the government essentially says, we have to exterminate the entire ship to prevent corruption reaching the homeworld, Earth. And Nathaniel Garrow's philosophy is, no, we need to find the traitor and kill them or bring them to justice, which is basically kill them.
Yeah.
So the government's perspective is, no, they're all tainted, they're all corrupt, destroy the entire thing and cleanse it. Nathaniel Garrow's like, but that means you're going to be killing hundreds of thousands of civilians. And, you know, their rationale, their philosophy is that the lesser evil is to kill, cleanse the entire ship so that you don't corrupt an entire world or an entire empire.
Hold on a second, Bruce. I'm listening, but I thought I heard someone.
Did you ever hear that story about?
Not that.
Yes, that was from my Discord. That was from my Discord. I'm in a Discord right now. And
okay, cool. All right, I understand. I got it. You were saying continue.
So yeah, Nathaniel Garrow is on a mission to prove the entire ship is not corrupt.
Right.
And it's interesting because when you get introduced to him on the ship or in the books, he is a high-ranking lieutenant. And so you're like, okay, this guy pretty much has free reign and access. But what happens is he gets undermined by a higher authority figure who doesn't technically have rank over him, but does technically have status over him. And the ultimate command falls onto him. And because him and Garrow are at such odds with each other, he doesn't see rational and reason. But also what gives him a higher status than Garrow is like a mutant human. So he's like slightly modified and slightly superior to a regular human. And he has a Space Marine suit, which makes him superior to any human and makes him superior to most Space Marines. This other guy was genetically bred and mutated to be an elite trooper, the best of the best. He is meant to guard the Emperor. He is capable of like 300 slashes in a second. Okay, like he is just really insanely fast. And like he's like his crowning achievement is that he has killed like over 190 some odd or I think like 800 some odd Space Marines because they were corrupted or one thing or another. So in Warhammer, when you gain such status, you're supposed to carve it into your suit of armor,
Right.
some way to mark every kill you've earned. And that's, again, supposed to prostrate yourself as, I am loyal to the Emperor by 900 kills or 4,000 kills or however many kills, or whatever deeds. Because you can also just be like, hey, here's a pin for you cleansing an entire world in the name of the Emperor. And so Garrow is, in this extreme universe, he is a compassionate person. And he tries to lead a compassionate argument as to why the military shouldn't just execute this entire starship. And it's really well done. And they do an interesting way of having a climax. The climax comes down to Garrow having to find the traitor, expose the traitor, eliminate the traitor, save the hostages before three events happen. The first event is the elite trooper deciding to just kill everybody. The second is the heretics deciding to kill everybody. And then the third is they're rapidly approaching an Imperial blockade. The blockade is waiting for a signal that they are a cleansed ship and they aren't corrupted. If they don't deliver that signal in time, an entire planetary defense network is going to light up the starship and exterminate everyone, including Nathaniel Garrow. So, sorry, what?
No, he was sneezing. I said, bless you.
So, like, the entire thing is he's up against this clock, and he only has like 2 hours or I think 8 hours. Initially, it's like 8 hours, and then it rapidly boils down to like 2 hours towards the climax.
Yeah.
So he only has like really like he's running very short on time to save everybody. And it's really a very interesting way how they built up that climax in the story and how all that came to a head, because it's like there's multiple layers to that climax, and all of it is pressuring down on one man with a sense of honor of this is what has to be done. Now, there's also like a sideline story where Nathaniel Garrow recruits this psyker. Psychers are like these telepaths and psychics.
Yeah.
Most people don't like psychers because in Warhammer, they tap into the magic realm. And the magic realm is chaotic at best. Best to describe it, it's chaotic.
Interesting.
So whenever you tap into that chaotic energy, you run the risk of bringing something corrupted back, unless you're skilled. Right. So this particular psyker, he had in his career, he had a episode which he envisioned him like slaughtering an entire Space Marine battalion. And it turned out that he actually did. And so everyone thought of him as a traitor. even though his justification was they were all corrupted. And that someone just left my Discord.
Got it. Okay.
And because of that portrayal of him slaughtering everyone and him saying they were all corrupted, there's doubt because it's like, okay, if they were all corrupted, what stopped you from being corrupted? All we have is your word that everyone else was corrupted. So Nathaniel Garrow saw him as, okay, this is a guy who has nothing to lose but everything to gain from helping me on my mission. So I want him. I trust that he is a good man. I knew his mentor vouched for him. I want him. But naturally, the elite guard doesn't trust him because the elite guard is trying to find a traitor. And when you're trying to find a traitor, you already have a guy who the whispers through the bulkheads is that he is the traitor. So it's a great dynamic. It's a great character arc and great back and forth between everyone. And naturally in the story, the Psyker is the guy who finds the actual heretic. He's actually like, hey, this is the guy who's behind it.
Interesting.
Yeah. If you want to know, I can go down the philosophy of the warp in Warhammer, which is the magic element. Okay, how the warp works is it's basically your imagination. It's similar to like willpower in DC Comics.
Right.
Your imagination does a thing. And in our world, your imagination doesn't do anything. Okay, it's whatever's in your brain, it does a thing. But in Warhammer, your imagination does a thing, but attached to your imagination is your willpower. And your willpower hits that thought. And it then transcends our reality into another dimension.
That sounds fucking crazy, but fascinating.
And yeah, so when you have a thought, it goes into the warp. And it's like a tap on a drum, and it creates a ripple effect.
And kind of like a black hole.
In one theory, yes. So when you hit the drum, it does a small little ripple, and nothing happens. Nothing comes of that. But if I say I think the Force is real, in the warp, it does a little ripple. But then you say I think the Force is real. Now it creates a slightly bigger impact with a slightly stronger ripple. And then we have another person and another person and another person. And eventually this impact on a drum, think of it like water, actually. Yeah. So that impact on the water becomes a splash. So it goes from just like this little, like your hands just waving through the water to a giant splash. And now water is flying out into the air. It's now separated from the warp. And it becomes something tangible. Well, if you believe the Force is real in Warhammer, and enough people believe it, it causes that ripple to cascade into a manifestation of that thing. So the Force becomes real because enough people hit that drum enough to create a loud enough bang. And that's why in Warhammer, people believe there's a god of blood. And hence you'll hear the phrase, blood for the blood god. People believe that there's a god of wrath. And, you got to think this all stems from primitive people, primitive tribes. And
so is Warhammer polytheistic in terms of gods?
Sort of, yes.
Okay.
I mean, they basically translate the first gods, if I'm correct. Someone can correct me, but if I'm correct, like the first god was the god of lust. And that was because the primitive in 40K, it's the Eldar, which are basically space elves.
Yeah.
Their thing was when they were young, a young species, they loved sex. And they couldn't get enough sex. So at some point, sex had degraded their culture into them opening the door to a dark god who was a god of sex. And he wasn't just a god of sex. Sex was the catalyst for him. But they expanded on it and they kept adding more lore to this god. And as they added lore to this god, it made him stronger and more powerful because they're giving him more powers. And basically, he's a god of excess, a god of degeneracy. So that's the god of Slanesh. And he's often depicted as having like multiple female breasts, male genitalia, often bestiality is somewhere thrown in there.
Kind of like the Baphomet.
Yes. And so like the Eldar are this really perverse race. And then you throw in races like humans that believe in this god emperor of mankind. It's this ancient emperor who united humanity into this space force, and they basically go out into the world to cleanse the evils.
Got it.
And that's basically the gist of how all of these gods, good and evil, came into Warhammer. Is that this thing called the warp, and it's a chaotic force because anyone can tap into it. And that's also why in the 40K universe, the Space Marines consider anyone who taps into the warp borderline a heretic. And they run the risk of destroying all of everything, just destroying the entire universe.
Yeah.
It's also why in 40K, orcs have this thing where they say red makes things go faster. Because if the orcs, their power is they all believe something. So they believe colors impact the world. So red, for example, is speed. If you paint something red, it automatically goes faster because the orcs believe red goes faster. Now, if you don't believe that, somehow it doesn't work that way. So like Marines, Space Marines don't believe red makes things go faster. So it doesn't work for them. But to the orcs, it does.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're probably like one of the second person I've met online who's like really into Warhammer. Like the stuff I learned from you and Kat about Warhammer, it's very, I can't decide if it's awesome or vomit inducing. Like
hey, did Bruce and Kat ever meet?
I don't think so.
Because, in a way, they're very similar. Well, except, the voices and other stuff.
Yeah, like the fact that Cal will basically actually, no, I probably shouldn't say that. That might piss him off. Never mind.
Were you going to say something to piss him off?
I have no idea. Like, he doesn't like when you talk bad about someone behind their back. So, yeah, I'm not doing that.
You actually going to talk bad behind his back?
No, but he might perceive it that way. I was going to make a joke. And I thought, you know what? That might sour things. I don't want to do that. So, yeah, no.
Ah, I see. So you're conflicted, young grasshopper.
Okay. Quit it with the shtick.
Oh.
Actually, you know what? Go with the shtick. What the heck?
No, I only did it once. That's it, I got to let it down.
What I was going to say is Warhammer is fascinating to me as a sci-fi fanboy, but it's also fascinating to me from a storytelling perspective. Because if I forget which story I read, or if it was a YouTube video I saw exploring the lore, but their explanation of things, vomit-inducing, is correct because they go into so much detail about the human body and not just human bodies, but like organic functions. Like they can spend pages articulating a bowel movement. And you're like, why the fuck? Well, because remember how I was explaining the warp?
Yeah.
A corrupt planet is basically a living organism. And the corrupt, the heretics, the chaos, what they do is they pervert everything. So take a planet, an inanimate object, a thing with soil, and then get rid of the soil and make it flesh. get rid of dirt and make it blood veins, and get rid of volcanoes and turn them into eyeballs. So, and one of the things that's absolutely horrifying to like they intentionally make it graphic because it's supposed to be things of nightmare. What they'll do is they'll take their enemies, the Chaos Marines, they'll take their enemies, put them in flesh bags. They'll put them into bags made of human flesh and let the person inside fester there, restrained, tied up, or pinned down, bolts injected into their arms, pinning them there as they're left alive. They don't die. They're just left there rotting in madness with the stench of decay. And again, so they go through this really painstaking amount of detail just to put the reader into the mindset of how horrible this existence is.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of I'm sorry, go. I'm sorry, what?
I was just saying, as a writer, it's fascinating.
Oh, no, I agree with you there. I agree 100%. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of that one movie. I haven't seen it. It's a horror film where I think it was called Event Horizon.
Yes, Event Horizon. What's it called? Many people say it was inspired off of Warhammer 40K.
Yeah, I can believe that because like what you just described is like so vomit-inducing that it sounds like that movie. Like I haven't seen it. I've only seen clips of it. It's so fucked up.
Yeah,
and this
I should probably go back and watch it again.
Yeah, I kind of kept my distance from that movie because when I was growing up, I loved Sam Neill. I was like, oh my God, Sam Neill movie. And as a kid trying to watch that movie, I was like, yep, I'm not interested at all. The dude rips out his eyeballs, the one dude. Nope, I'm good. I'm not interested in watching this at all.
Traumatized you?
Not traumatized me. It was just like, I'm not a big horror guy.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to skip out on this. I got the gist that it's an evil ship and cursed. And it's that like, those are horror tropes are things that I don't quite enjoy.
Right.
It's like they're not interesting to me. That's why like the other day when you asked me like, what's my favorite horror movie? It was like Alien would be the closest thing. Alien.
Wait a fucking minute. Nathan, first it was the multiverse. Then it was the multiverse and comics. And now it's the multiverse and comics and Warhammer. Are you serious?
Sue me. Hey, Bruce made Warhammer. I'm just going along with it.
You might as well add Event Horizon next to that too.
Oh no, fuck that.
No, dude, it's like if you're going to add every single topic in this stream to the title, then you might as well.
No, I'm good. I think I'll stick to this. I think that'll be the title. Arkham Hangout 7, the multiverse and comics and Warhammer. That's an excellent title as far as I'm concerned.
Honestly, Nathan, I know you told me you'd have an identity crisis if you discovered infinity exists, but honestly, I want to dig a little deeper. Why do you think, knowing that there are infinite versions of you will give you an identity crisis?
Okay, it's like HK-47 and finding out there's more HK models out there.
Right.
What about me separates me from, well, and we know it separates me because all of these multiverse pricks are all uniquely assholes.
Well, I mean, if we're going by the realms of infinity, there's going to be infinite versions of you that aren't uniquely assholes.
Yeah, the ones who aren't assholes, I'm going to be like, you are a disappointment to the name Nathan.
Wow.
Like the name Nathan once should have inspired reverence for the art form that was being an asshole. You've bastardized it.
What, do you have a purity spile for fucking doppelgangers?
No. I'm just saying, like, next to the Native American guy, you people make me sick to call myself Nathan.
Fair enough, I guess.
Like if I found one that was a hippie, not only would I be disgusted, I would be like, I have never wanted to blow my brains out so hard in my life.
Well, dude, you got to remember, it's not exactly you. It's just another version of you.
I know, but the fact that there's a hippie version of me out there, like, unless they're like Shaggy, I want to pick them up.
I mean, what's wrong with wanting to get high on shrooms? Do
You're
nothing.
wasting your time is what's wrong with it.
Dude, don't you waste your time now?
I waste my time, right? Like, unless you are doing something productive every second of every day that does not involve working yourself into a grave early, you are wasting time.
I guess.
But the only thing that separates me from the right wing is I like to enjoy life a little.
Honestly, I just want you to meet a left-wing version of yourself, and I want to see you lose your shit.
I'd be like, do you at least write still? Yes? Okay, we're good.
Oh, wow, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, as long as as long as there's some versions of me that write, I'm good.
Right.
He's like, I'm not so good with my writing. I'm hoping there's a version of me that's good with writing.
Fair enough. But honestly, the beauty of Infinity is that we're all right and wrong. All of life's questions, our opinions, our viewpoints, we're all right and wrong at the end of the day. It's a paradox, but it's a paradox I can live with.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a version of me that has fire and blood already, because I'm waiting for that book to come in the mail.
Well, of course, dude.
Yeah, I'm also waiting for that third Elric book to come here. Ordered both of them yesterday, and again, those are the last two things I'll be ordering from Amazon for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Go for a whole month, basically. I just have to fast in spending.
Fast in spending. Okay.
Sue me. I thought it would be funny.
The religion of money.
Hold up. That's not a religion. That's a way of life. Big difference.
Oh, you know what? That's what my parents used to say. We don't believe in a religion. We believe in a way of life. Like, okay.
Wait a minute. I don't want to be anything like those assholes. No,
way of life is just another way of saying religion. It's a more fancy way of saying religion.
No, motherfucker. There's a big difference. A religion is you believe in something. A way of life is how you live your day to day.
Yeah, exactly. And religious people live their day to day a certain way, just like you do. I'm pretty sure your religion is pessimism.
No, my religion is doing something productive day to day without being a loser.
Okay, so work hardism? Capitalism?
Good enough. Oh, yeah, when you said the name Slanesh, though, I've actually heard that name before. I remember Sargon of Akkad was on a stream with Critical Drinker. He mentioned that. And I'm like,
Sargon he's a Warhammer, but what's called junkie.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, this Slanesh sounds like a piece of shit. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah, Slanesh is both great and terrible. Great in that it makes for a great villain. Absolutely fantastic villain. Inspirational villain. On the other hand, it's a dark god. It's a god of chaos. So it's not a good thing.
Yeah, and I thought Cthulhu and the old ones were bad, but this stuff is just fucked up. Actually, the funny thing about Event Horizon was Dankeel was on a stream with the Critical Drinker when they were talking about Event Horizon. They actually referenced Lovecraft, like Dankeel. I'm like, hold up. Dankeel reads Lovecraft. I have a newfound respect for this man. I already had some, but now I have more. You
should watch Quarter Black Garrett and Nick Rekieta's review of it, because I don't think Quarter Black is a Warhammer guy, but Nick Rekieta is. And they reviewed Event Horizon, and they talked about its Warhammer ties.
Oh, yeah, no, I look at Event Horizon, like, I've only seen people talk about it, but from what I can tell, it's like Warhammer meets Lovecraft. Like, that's how I would describe it to a friend, based on what I've heard of it. It was like, yeah, it looks like a warped up version of, it's like a fucked up hybrid of Warhammer and Lovecraftian horror, basically.
Oh, wait, I know this is out of left field, Nathan, but did you tell Bats about the whole monk thing?
Oh, no, I didn't. There was this monk. Dan told me this. There was this monk who took 50 things of LSD, and it did nothing to him.
50 doses.
That's believable.
You could believe that?
Yeah, I could.
50 doses of LSD.
I'm like, he was probably like, bitch, please. That's nothing.
Well, right, because, like, depending on what type of, like, training he goes through, I mean, you can effectively suppress those channels in the body. You know, depending on, like, I don't know what monk training, you know, they go through, but whether it's burning certain candles, whether it's the physical training of it, I don't know. It could also just be the mundane lifestyle.
Yeah, I just remembered something. I'm only allowed to do, I only have like 24 hours of recording for this thing. I can't remember if that's per year or month. Oh, well. But yeah, like, wait, Bruce, have you read Lovecraft stuff?
Very little of it. I know quite a bit of it because of summaries and following what people have said about it. I find it fascinating.
Same
but
here.
his writing itself is kind of difficult for me to.
Oh yeah, you're not alone there. It's the same with me. Like he uses very archaic words that I don't know, and I always find myself looking stuff up in the dictionary or Google to figure out what the fuck he's saying.
Arkansian spells.
Sorry, well, no, like his made up words are easy to pick up. It's just everything else, you know. Like his writing style is very classic, literature and sci-fi. So like you have to really dial it down and take it very slowly through it and understand, like, okay, this is a different approach to literature. You know, it's similar to like Sherlock Holmes, where you just have to dial it down and just take it easy going through it, because a lot of what we have for granted today is we have the process down. We understand how it's supposed to be done. We understand everything has to get done. Like, we understand like step 1, step 2, step 3. You have all these things. When you go off of something like Lovecraft's work or Sherlock Holmes, even Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, there is none of that structure. It's, I'm just going to tell you a story, and this is how I want to tell you my story. So it's an unorthodox approach. It's not system manufactured and processed.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's indicative of the pulp era. Like the people who wrote Pulps, these were not traditional writers. Like look at Conan the Barbarian and Solomon Kane. This was no hero's journey, or like you had no flat arc. Well, no, these were flat character arcs, but there was no there was no positive change, no negative change arc. It was just you were seeing short stories being made of characters who go through events. You don't see them they don't develop as characters.
Right. Well, I don't agree with that. I don't agree that they don't develop as characters. I think they do develop as characters, but the process in which that happens isn't like how we process it now.
Right.
Like how we process it now is, oh, this turning point happens and they change. Where, I mean, Sherlock Holmes is probably a good example from my knowledge. It's like, the change is gradual. It happens, it builds up over time, over the course of a large series.
Okay. Hey, Dan, I changed the title again.
Are you fucking Pulps? Pulps? I would strangle you right now, but I can't touch you.
I mean, Dan, this is me we're talking about. Of course I'm going to fuck with you. So
comics, Warhammer, and Pulps.
But yeah, I'm probably wrong about Pulps because I'm still reading Pulps. Like, I can't read Conan. I find it too boring. I find Solomon Kane more up my alley.
You find Conan boring?
Yeah, I couldn't even get through the first story. I'm going to try to eventually again, but I find Solomon Kane and Cole more interesting.
I want to see John Milius make Conan the Barbarian 3.
I want to see someone make another Solomon Kane movie. Because that was a badass movie. And anyone who says otherwise, who sees the stream disagrees with me, fight me. I will fight you in a debate on this.
Wow, dude.
I will debate this with someone, usually in texts, and say, this movie was badass. At least begrudge at that point. Beyond that, I don't give a shit.
Nathan, you honestly give the term keyboard warrior a whole new meaning.
That hurts, man. That really hurts.
I can go there if I want. There's a reason why I add limiters, because if I don't, you'll deal with an even worse person than you're dealing with right now.
I wish I could tase you right now.
Tase me? Oh.
Yeah, that'd be funny. I saw a guy get tased once. It was hilarious.
Mm.
And my dad did it right in front of me.
Yeah, I saw a guy get tased too, but that was like in New York City. I saw a guy get tased across the street. Like,
okay, that's not an abnormality. That's probably an average Tuesday for a New Yorker. I saw this in Arkansas. You don't see it that often.
Oh, well, I mean, seeing people run away from cops was a regular thing in New York.
Well, yeah, it's New York. It's a shithole.
Yeah. My favorite story is the cops that were dressed up like regular average guys, like they were wearing hoods and shirts and stuff, and they were in a regular car, and this one person ran out of a subway, and then these two jump out of the car and chase them down the street in the middle of traffic. And I remember I was young, so that shit caught me off guard. I was like, "What the hell's going on?" And my parents were with me, and then I saw these two guys cuff that guy, and my dad was like, they were cops in disguise. And I remember I was like, holy shit. It's like, I thought cops always had to wear their uniforms. I had no idea that they could just throw on regular clothes and catch a guy off guard.
Yep. And Dan, I changed the title again.
Yeah, actually, I like that one better.
Okay.
It's more organized. But honestly, then I was like, damn. Like, so cops are allowed to like disguise themselves and arrest you.
They can also lie to your face.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But it's like, damn. It's like I honestly, that was my first experience seeing cops, act differently than how I perceive them. I would also see a lot of them in Dunkin' Donuts, but that's not here nor there.
Yeah, the ones I saw were always in the country, and they were usually assholes. Likeable assholes, but still assholes. God, I miss them.
Hey, at least likeable assholes. That's nice.
Yeah, no, they were nice to me. Like some of them, sometimes if my dad couldn't pick me up from school, one of them would do it for him because he was a cop too.
Yeah.
So imagine how fucking infuriating it is when I see cops get vilified all the time. Because I grew up.
Actually, you know what? I feel bad. One of the reasons why I feel bad is because I was in a store. No, not in a store. I was at school, high school, and there was these pamphlets about, applying for a job at the police station, becoming a cop. And I briefly glanced at it, and I was about to walk away. But the school security guard, she looked at me, and she was like, are you interested in becoming a cop? I was like, no, I'm not really interested in becoming a cop. And she said, I understand if you're not interested because of how police treat, young black teenagers. Like, and I was black, I'm black clearly. It's like, no, my reasoning has nothing to do with that. It's just that it's like my reasoning has nothing to do with what about the controversies between the police and individual citizens. It's just I was just glancing at it. I was just looking at it, I don't really have any interest in, in being an officer of the law.
Yeah, I would have said, no, I don't want to do it because I don't want to get shot. It's a thankless job.
Ooh, Nathan, ouch. Honestly, though, Nathan, in all honesty, dude, in my head, I didn't tell her this, but in my head, I was saying, no, I don't want to be a cop. I want to be Batman. I want to be a vigilante.
Oh, yeah, no. I'd be like, I don't want to be a cop. I want to be Red Hood or the Punisher.
Yeah.
But
I feel bad.
Actually, I'd rather be Red Hood. The Punisher is actually psychotic.
But I feel bad. It's clear to me that she believes in the cops, or she believes in like the cops. She's a security guard, so of course she's like I think she plays a role. But it's clear to me she believes in the cops, and due to the controversies that are happening in current society, I guess it hurts her that kids aren't interested in being cops due to that.
Yeah.
Although,
a cop I knew, he was Hispanic. He was at my school one day, and I told him he looked like George Lopez. He laughed his ass off.
That's funny. That is hilarious.
Yeah,
hey, Bats, you okay? You're still in that Discord?
Yeah, I'm not talking in that Discord. He left. He wanted my attention for something, but yeah, don't worry about me.
Oh, okay, I was just wondering.
Oh yeah, it's fine. Like we reached the 2-hour time slot, so yeah, we can talk about whatever y'all want. And when you're ready to leave, just let me know, and I'll end it.
Well, technically, Nathan, since the topic is the multiverse, we could talk about everything because infinite possibilities.
Okay, don't let me end it now. I will just to shut you up.
Wow, dude, you are an asshole.
Yeah, I am an asshole. I've told you this for how long now? I am an asshole. I fuck with people for fun.
Honestly, if you lived in New York, that honestly would not that honestly would help your case. It's like the mayor in Ghostbusters 2 said, being an asshole is every New Yorker's God-given rights.
I mean, where's the lie? Where's he wrong? Where's he wrong?
Well, I mean, if everyone's assholes to each other, why can't everyone be assholes?
I mean, and I say this is in Arkansas, and like everyone I knew in Arkansas were assholes too, like the adults especially. Like I grew up in a bunch of small towns usually, and they were usually filled with assholes. They were usually filled to the brim with assholes who had a punch or two coming their way.
I mean, since I spent my younger years in Orlando, everyone was nice. You know, we weren't really assholes to each other. An asshole was a rare case. So it's like when I went to New York and I saw the true assholery of people, it just kind of threw me for a loop. And the fact that people were cursing on the regular, like I saw people cursing all the fucking time, I was like, what?
Oh,
No.
yeah. Cursing is funny. Like, I always find cursing's funny just because, like, you hear the insults people have for each other, like the word cunt. I always call men that. I never call a woman that. Well, I usually don't call a woman that. I call men a cunt because I find it more insulting for men.
Oh, shit. I didn't ask Bats. Hey, Bats, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our topic this stream was about the multiverse. So I asked Phil and Nathan about how they feel about gender bended versions of themselves. So how would you feel about a gender bended version of yourself?
I wouldn't care. I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, I'd have to ask, like, what kind of gender bend we talking here? Like Western or Eastern kind? Because like the Eastern people, they do a good gender bender, right? It's the Western people who suck at it.
Yeah, well, sometimes they do it okay. Other times they screw it up. But Eastern people get it right most of the time, if you ask me.
Oh, no. For an example of this, look at the Fate series. They have gender bent Frankenstein, Sir Francis Drake. Who else? Mordred. But they do it right. Like they have a character that if you call them a woman, she gets pissed off at you and threatens to kill you. But it's not cringy. It's funny.
Well, yeah, because there's a certain way to do these things, Nathan. But honestly, Bats, why don't you care?
Probably because either I'm narcissistic and I look at it like if I were to meet a gender bent version of myself, we'd probably fuck.
What the fuck? What the fuck, man?
Well, this got awkward.
But we'd also probably just be like cool with each other. Like we'd just be like,
I mean, it kind of makes sense though, because I think I remember hearing that one time it was a theory that Da Vinci's painting of the Mona Lisa was basically a female version of him. So who knows? Maybe you find an opposite sex version of yourself attractive.
Yeah, cosmic incest, everybody. Okay, that's a joke.
Well, no, it's not. It's not like that, right? Like you're typically into something that's familiar. Okay.
Right.
It's a deviation to be into something exotic. Okay. So like the standard is like, okay, I'm going to use animals to avoid having your YouTube get destroyed.
I'm a nobody on YouTube. Do whatever you like.
Well, I'm going to use animals because it's also better. So if you have two birds that have blue feathers, okay, the natural order is the two birds come together to create more birds with blue wings.
Multiplication.
Yeah. Now, one bird decides, hey, there's a bird with red wings. It's exotic. It's different. It's not a blue bird. I want that. That's a deviation. And humans, we're big on that. I saw a twit-twat post the other day where a lady was saying, stop sexualizing Asian women. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Or fetishizing, not sexualizing, fetishizing Asian women. And it's like, what are you talking about? Humanity, since the dawn of time, has fetishized each other. It's a good thing because it's how it's a thing that Penn and Teller once said on their show Bullshit. If everyone fucks everyone, we all become one big fucking race.
Yeah, that's fine with me, I guess.
Right. So it's like, but that's my point is that that's a deviation to for me, a white guy, to be interested in a Asian woman. That's a deviation from our natural genetic code and our natural thought process. Okay. Right. It's an evolutionary step. Okay. And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. So again, if I look at it like, okay, I'm looking at a gender bent version of myself. I know myself. I'm comfortable with myself. Then I see someone else who's like me. Okay. Or they are an identical version of me. Say in this hypothetical, I know it's me. They have the exact same name, just they're a woman. Okay. On one day, because I'm a degenerate, I could say, yeah, I'm not into that. But on another day, I could say, yeah, I'm into that.
Oh my God. Okay. Only you, Bats. Only you.
I am a degenerate. So like out of 100 people, I might be that deviation. I might be one of 5 or 10 people who are that deviation.
Okay.
But that's my point. Okay. I'm not saying that anyone has to have that point. I'm just aware of the statistical probability that if you have 100 people, you have at least half of them are degenerates.
Only you can take any topic I bring up and, well, let's just say make it weird. Yep. It's interesting. I'll give you that. It is interesting, but...
Well, yeah, I do find that weird, but at the same time, I'm like, wait, he says he's a degenerate, and all I can think is, wait, which level of degenerate are we talking here? Because there's like tolerable degeneracy, and then there's degeneracy that makes you want to blow your brains out.
What, like pedophilia?
For me, the thing where my limit is necrophilia, pedophilia, and incest. That's the 3 lines I never want someone to cross. If you do these things, you deserve to be castrated with a shotgun, as far as I'm concerned.
What's necrophilia again?
Sex with corpses.
Ooh, I mean, well, look, it's fucked up, sure, but honestly, like I said, if it's not, as long as it's not being imposed on me, then I'm good. People do it in their own homes, great. Just leave me out of it.
Oh no, I'm like, no, you do this. As far as I'm concerned, someone can take a sawed-off shotgun, press against your nuts, and pull the trigger. I will condone it.
Ooh, wow. Oh yeah, I'm a staunch believer in freedom. It's fucked up, but as long as it's not affecting anyone else in a negative way.
What about the corpse? They can't consent, so they're technically being raped.
Oh, they're being raped, or their corpse is being raped, Nathan. Like they're
technically being struggle snuggled, so they
you could say their corpse is being what's defecated. I think violated. Yeah, you could say their corpse is being violated, but I don't know if they're being struggle snuggled. I mean, they have to be alive for that, don't they?
Okay, you don't have to say it. That's my term. Like you don't have to say it if you don't want to.
I don't know. I adapt to things, man.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want you to think you have to adopt soft language just because I do. Like, I do it for fun. Like, I still hate soft language. Like, I'm like George Carlin. I make fun of that shit.
One thing I've observed about myself, Nathan, is that if I hang around someone for too long, I start to adopt some of their characteristics.
Oh, well, then you don't want to hang around me that much. You'll be adopting some very unlikable characteristics.
It's too late, Nathan. I'm feeling the pessimism already.
Reject pessimism. Embrace optimism.
Yeah.
I try to do the same thing, except I fail.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I often can be affected by people around me if I hang around them for too long.
Oh yeah, this is why I can't follow Nick on Twitter because he has all these stupid Democrat, and I'm like, I don't want to see too many political things. So, and I like Nick for the record. I like talking to him. He's one of my.
You guys just disagree.
Yeah, it's the one thing I just don't want to see it because I don't want to hate him or because I like talking to him. That's why I said politics should be purged from Twitter.
Honestly, dude, do you really should political views be enough for you to hate someone?
No, that's not why I don't hate Nick for the record. That's why I don't follow him because I don't want him to see the things he's probably seen some asinine things I've said. Like take Miriam for example. I like talking to her, but she's a Middle Eastern person. I've probably said some asinine things about Middle Eastern people in the past.
Right, yeah.
And when she finds out, I'll have some explaining to do.
Well, I mean, dude, Miriam seems to be a pretty forgiving person. I wouldn't worry about that.
Oh, good, because I actually enjoy talking to her. She's actually pretty nice.
Oh, good for you, then. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like that pop. Who's that one guy? The Middle Eastern guy. He was on Geeks and Gamers at one point. Kamen Pasa, I think.
Wait. Shit. Why did I think of Ivan Ortega?
I don't know. I think it's Carmen or Carmen.
Oh, Cameron Pasha.
Yeah, Cameron Pasha. He is awesome. I would love to talk to him.
He's interesting. I've watched his stuff. You know, ironically enough, he's the one that said that George Lucas and Jon Favreau looked at The Last Jedi and said that it was soulless.
I mean, are they wrong?
Well, that's on his account. He says he knows people who know George, and look, like I said, honestly, you have to take it with a grain of salt. So it's like I'm not going to 100% say it's a fact. You know, I don't know if he's telling the truth or lying, but he is a legitimate person in Hollywood. So it's more than likely it's the truth because he used to be in their circles. He used to interact with those people before he started speaking out against them, and then they, canceled him. Like they blacklisted him like they do everyone else that speaks out against them. But he was an actual person who used to be a part of Hollywood, and he would often go around and meet lots of people. So when he says he knows people who knew George Lucas, I'm like, okay, I could believe that.
Oh yeah, my favorite thing he said was one time he mentioned like these one Chinese products, like the third generation waste things. Now think about this. Walt Disney, like the first generation creates something, the second generation tries to preserve it, the third squanders. Now think of it this way. Walt Disney, really talented man. Like me and my step-grandfather have had this discussion a few times when I talk about my hate boner for Disney.
Yeah.
He says like Walt Disney was a very talented man. Like he built the business up from the ground up. Then you had his kids. They they didn't have much of a say. They probably would have tried to preserve it though if they could help it. And the people in charge now, if his grandkids were in charge, they would have squandered it. You kind of see this with.
Well, I heard his grandkids sold it to these corporate suits.
Yeah, you kind of see this with the Tolkien estate. Like you had J.R.R. Tolkien, a very talented man. Like if I meet this man in the afterlife, I am shaking his crom damn hand. Like
that'd be awesome.
I'm asking if I can shake his hand just for being such a talented SOB. Then you had his son, Christopher. Now, Christopher, he was, as I've told you on Twitter many times, he was the son all fathers can only dream of having. He worked his ass off trying to preserve his father's legacy. When he died, either one of his other kids or one of Christopher's own kids, they got in charge, and look what they've done with Lord of the Rings. They've squandered it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like that's the point. So yeah, like this is why I say when I die, if I've made anything worth a damn, I want everything I make to go public domain. Right, unless I have someone I trust in my family who's still alive, then yeah, no, I'm saying no. It's all public domain. Do as you please with it. Although if you make anything political, I will say in my will you are a prick if you did anything political with it. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying you're a prick.
Oh, dude, my G Canon Twitter post about the origins of the Jedi and the Sith and the G Canon. Yeah. It got 15 likes and 7 retweets. No, 6 retweets plus 1 quote tweet, which makes 7.
Hang on, let me see if I can find it. But yeah, so that's the thing that sucks about family is you love them, but sometimes you really can't trust them.
Honestly, if I created something like Star Wars, I get people say trust your family, but I personally would choose someone who I believe is destined to continue it. Like whether they're blood or not, if they're destined to continue it, I'm giving everything to them. And I'm like, okay, I trust that you will take this and you will continue the values and methods that made it great. So whether it's someone blood related or not, they'll get it.
I would just make it like I would just make it if I couldn't do public domain, I would say, okay, I'm going to find an apprentice, and not
Cool.
a simple apprentice, just someone I can who I will teach everything I know to and give it to them, or say you get control of what is canon and what is not.
Oh, Bats, did you hear Winnie the Pooh's now public domain? So I think they made a Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
Yeah, they did. They did. It's
Nice.
god awful.
Oh, you saw it?
No, I've seen the trailer for it. I'm just like, what the fuck am I looking at?
I was thinking about watching it for Halloween, but I missed a chance.
Yeah, I didn't watch anything for Halloween. I just did that one live stream with you guys, and then that was it.
Right. Are you going to do a Christmas live stream?
I don't think I'll have time to.
Were you actually considering it?
No, I didn't even think of it. Like, I didn't think to have this live stream till you mentioned it on Twitter.
Well, I didn't mention it. This was your idea.
No, you asked if I wanted to do a live stream.
Oh, right. Yeah, I did. And then you said you wanted to talk about the multiverse.
Yeah, and that devolved into comics, Warhammer, Pulps, and a butt fuck of other stuff.
Well, it's all a part of the multiverse anyway. So in a way, we fulfilled our destiny.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not mad. I'm happy we did it. Like, I'm always happy to talk to you and Bruce here.
Yeah.
Like, Bruce is definitely one of the more interesting people I've met through your group, your circles.
My circles? Are you shitting me? I just meet people at random.
Oh, well, yeah, no, I'd say Bruce is interesting. He's now one of the 3 most interesting people I've met on the internet.
Actually, you know what, Nathan? You know who you should thank for talking to Bruce right now? Keegan.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. If Bruce never made tweet responses to our spaces, saying that Keegan's points are stupid, then we probably never would have known this guy.
Oh, speaking of which, Bruce, are you on Twitter?
Yes.
I'd be honestly, if Keegan was here right now, I'd be like, Keegan, thanks for being a dumbass.
Yeah, I was asking, Bruce, what's your handle? I want to follow you on there for a while. See if you say anything funny.
Oh, you didn't know he was on Twitter?
No.
My twit twat is Jack or at Jack_Stargate.
So in many ways, if we really want to, so in many ways, if we really want to thank someone for Bats being here, it's fucking Keegan. Ironically enough.
No, I would say it's you, Dan.
Well, what did you say?
I would say it's you.
Seriously?
Yeah, because up until you doing your constant retweet, tweet, like thing that you do, up until you doing that, my Twitter was pretty quiet. Like I'd engage with some people, but I wouldn't get that much notifications. Then you start blowing up my feed with all of this stuff that you post. And then also I'm getting messages. I don't normally get messages, or I didn't normally get messages.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, what is this about? Like I'm new to this. I don't understand what people do on Twitter. So I checked them out and I was listening to Keegan talk. I'm like, this guy, what is wrong with this guy? Why is he so dumb? Why are you dumb? That's what I was thinking.
Nature. It's nature.
Nature. Damn.
I'm sorry, but some people have trouble define nature. Keegan is the example of that for me.
No, Keegan doesn't really care about nature. In a way, he's pretty grounded. What he sees is what he knows. That's how he goes about things.
Yeah, that's why I like him, or that's why I tolerate him at best.
Yeah. Well, honestly, Bruce, you had your account was called Bruce Wayne. It's like, I don't know. I thought you were a roleplay account. Roleplay accounts are cool.
Yeah, I've seen those. I met one guy who was like a Gilgamesh account, and then he changed it, unfortunately, to something else. Now I have no idea what he is.
Oh, Nathan, do you want to hear something funny?
What?
Okay, so Keegan, he was interacting with this Harley Quinn roleplay account on Twitter. This story is funny. all of us. I think the story we were laughing about this before we even met you, Nathan. He interacted with this Harley Quinn account on Twitter. Now, apparently, at some point he was interacting with her. He was messaging her, and she basically blocked him at one point. And he was telling me that he must have did something to make her angry. So his solution was to make a roleplay account of his own, another one, another account that's a roleplay account. It was a Rick Flag account, Rick Flag from the Suicide Squad.
Oh no!
And he so basically after that, he basically went back to her and asked her what possibly could have led to his friend Keegan Sandlin being blocked. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Keegan Sandlin responds to that tweet. Keegan Sandlin responds to that tweet saying that he made a mistake he shouldn't have made. And then Rick Flag and Keegan Sandlin say the same shit over and over again. And you know what happened? She blocked both accounts.
Oh my god, that sounds more funny than like one time I remember Razor Fist was on this live stream or this video with I think it's Duncan Cliff something. He had this one joke about he had a joke where he's like, hands up, don't loot.
Hands up, don't loot, like what,
and
robbery?
And Duncan was like, oh Lord. Like that's what that joke did for me. He's like, oh dear Lord. Oh dear Lord. Like that's the funny thing about Razor Fist is like his jokes either make you laugh your ass off or you're just like, I can't believe you just said that, motherfucker.
I just like his blunt and fast nature.
Oh yeah, I wish I envy that. I envy that. I envy his writing style too.
Oh, I haven't checked out his material yet. I've just watched his channel.
Oh yeah, no, I've got his first book. I'm waiting to get the second one, but I need to finish the first one before I do.
Right. But anyway, Keegan was so fucking stupid that he doesn't sound different when he's on another account and when he's himself. He types he types the same fucking way. It's so funny.
Oh, I do the same thing with my writing. Like everything I write sounds the same to me. It's just like one thing that goes from one thing to another. Like there's no like break. It's just like you're seeing a guy go do one thing after another, and it's just like that's it. There's no break, and it all sounds the same to me when I read it.
Right. Yeah, so I would relentlessly bully Keegan for that.
What? Wow.
I would relentlessly bully him for that.
Seriously?
As a roleplay coordinator, I used to run a DC Comics roleplay room, and I still technically do. One of the problems we used to have was a huge problem with sexual harassment, because that's just the nature of roleplay. And we used to have to come up with all kinds of rules and restrictions, and I've now finally have the right rules, but there was all kinds of rules and restrictions you had to come up with. But the gist of it is stop being weird. Like if someone doesn't want to play with you, move on. Like there's 50 million people out there. One of them will want to play with you. So go play with them. Don't play with someone that doesn't want to play with you. Stop being weird. And that's why I would just relentlessly bully him or make fun of him for that. It's like, dude, there's 500 billion people in the world. Someone's into you. Go for them. Stop wasting your time on someone who's not into you.
Wait, when you say you have a role playing thing, is Red Hood or a Nightwing still in it or something like that?
What do you mean?
Like, it sounds like for some reason I thought of a role playing game. I'm like, wait a minute, there's a role playing game for DC characters. If it has Red Hood, I want to buy a copy.
A copy? That's not how.
No. I do text based role play.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind then.
I mean, I technically do. I also do tabletop, but yeah, I do text based.
Yeah, I've never played a tabletop actually. Like, I want to play the Solomon Kane one and a D&D one because one of the stories I'm working on is a fantasy story, and I wanted to take stuff from D&D and put into that because I saw a lot of Japanese stories doing that. I thought, okay, that would be interesting. I just have to make up different names for them, like because like here's the pitch. Tell me how this sounds. You like a Welsh spell sword, basically. Who It's kind of like Elric and Melted, but he just travels from one place till he ends up in one country and becomes like kind of like Geralt of Rivia is to King Foltest. Like he becomes this guy the king relies on to get shit done.
Honestly, sounds similar to a lot of your other stuff, dude. Just saying.
Ah, damn it.
Look, dude, doesn't mean it's bad.
I know, but like I have all these stories are part of what I like to call my apocryphas.
Your apocryphas, Nathan's apocryphas. I'll gladly spend my hard-earned money on that. And I'm not being sarcastic. I actually will.
Oh, you know, like each story, like if I can make them all series, it'd be like you have a PI apocrypha, a spell sword apocrypha, a bounty hunter apocrypha, a gunslinger apocrypha. And yeah, I call them apocryphas because I love the word apocrypha. I just find it funny. Actually, no, I find it cool now that I think about it.
Wait, so you would bully him for it? Like, seriously?
Yeah, Keegan wouldn't be worth the time of day to do that. I would rather do something productive.
Yes,
No,
I would.
No,
I
absolutely
would.
I don't. Look, I don't care if you want to pretend to be someone else to be friends with someone again. If you want to do that, that's your prerogative. Whatever. But if you're gonna do it, at least be fucking convincing. You fucking idiots.
I know.
Like I said, it's a matter of if the person doesn't want to do anything with you, fuck off. Like it's that simple.
Yeah.
Like forcing them to be involved, forcing them to be there is nonsense. Okay. And this is a phenomenon that parents encounter with their kids. They don't understand how to handle it. And it's understandable that parents don't know how to handle it. But you have this instinct where when you get attached to something or into something, okay, and it gets scared, it gets startled, it wants to run away from you because it doesn't know if it can trust you or not. And so what the gut instinct is grab onto it and hold on to it. Don't let it escape. But that is typically what causes it to run away and stay away. Whereas if you back away and you ease off and you give it some space, you give it some time to breathe and understand, hey, this is a mutual relationship. You can come and go as you like. Okay. I don't want you unless it's mutual. You have to want me as much as I want you. And once a relationship reaches that understanding, it gets better. It improves. And it's this way with your friends. It's this way with your family. It's this way with your romances. And that's where it's like with role players. Back off. If someone doesn't want to play with you, don't force them. Understand, okay, maybe it was a flash in the pan. Okay, that's fine. Take it as training or as practice and then keep going, keep moving on. Look for someone else that can fulfill the needs or desires that you want. Like it's no big deal. But these people act like it's a big deal, like their whole world has ended. And role players are some of the most freaking drama-based people on earth. And it's like because they have nothing better to do than stir up drama. It's like they haven't graduated high school.
Oh, so like SJWs, basically.
Yes, precisely. A lot of role players are SJWs.
Was Keegan an SJW? Because if so, that kind of like messes with my respect for him a little.
An SJW, no. A normie, yes. The reason why I say that is because PC culture hasn't really grabbed him. At least modern PC culture, for that matter. And look, if he can interact with people like us without hating us, then I don't think he's an SJW.
Oh, thank God, because I don't want to hate him. Like, I mess with him, but I do not want to hate him.
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't take it. Normie is probably the best response or best descriptor of him. Is he's as normie as they get.
Yeah,
oh, he talks about comic book movies, but if you mention comics, he hasn't read that many. So, like, let's say I mentioned My Little Red Hood. Like, I can talk all day. Well, not all day, but I can talk for a while about all the Red Hood comics I've enjoyed over the last couple of years. Like, I haven't been into comics that long. And Keegan probably looks at me like, what the fuck are you rambling about?
Actually, I noticed something about Keegan. If you have a whole conversation about something that he knows nothing about, either two things are going to happen. A, he's not going to say anything, or B, he's going to try to change the subject.
I was going to say it's more the pattern I notice with him is he dismisses it outright.
You think so? Oh.
Yeah. Like he'll say, well, I don't care about that. He'll be like, oh, X-Men was so well, Wolverine looks good in the black outfit. The black outfit is how Wolverine should be designed. Yeah, but in the cartoons and in the comics, it's a yellow outfit. Well, I don't care about that. We're talking about the movies here. Like that's the type of thing I see that Keegan does.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Superman wears little red shorts in the comics. Yeah, but Cavill's doesn't do that. So I'm only talking about the movie. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's also hard to get a word in edgewise when you're around, and that's also probably a normie thing.
Oh, hey, look, he said he was working on it.
Oh, he was working on it. Oh, he's working on it. Oh, this is good news, because that was like him and Phil have like one annoying quirk that kind of makes me sometimes resent them, and that's the fact that it's hard to get a word in edgewise around them. Beyond that, I got no beef with them. I'll make a joke at their expense or just mess with them, but beyond that, I have no problem with them.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry guys if I have an interrupting problem. I'm trying to work on that myself.
Oh no, with you it's fine. With them, I sometimes feel like it's intentional. Like they feel like children who have an energy problem.
Fair enough.
Like they're like me after I take my medicine. Like I get a burst of energy and it's hard to keep me contained.
Oh. Well, I'm trying to talk less in these conversations because I'm actually interested in what Bats has to say or what you have to say, Nathan, or what other people have to say.
Okay. Hey, Bruce, did you follow me on Twitter?
I think I did, right?
Okay, good. I wanted to make sure I got the right account then. All right, good.
You know what, Nathan? Nathan, remember what I told you about the Elon Musking and the celebrities?
Yeah.
Well, Elon Musk is trolling the shit out of the celebrities. Every time they get pissed at him now on TwitTwat, he just keeps repeating the word. He just keeps repeating the number $8. He just keeps saying $8 because they're pissed at him that they have to pay $8 to keep their verification. So they keep ranting at him in all his tweets, and he just keeps saying $8. And I'm like,
yeah, I'll say the same thing I said on YouTube, but I'll be wording it differently. Like the fact that this pisses him off is the highlight of my week.
Who, Elon? Oh, Stephen King.
Yeah, basically the fact that this pisses him off is the highlight of my week. Like if it pissed off Mark Hamill, it'd be an even bigger highlight.
I mean, I think Mark Hamill's trying to stay out of that drama.
Oh, good, because I don't want to hate Mark. Like Mark, the difference between Mark Hamill and Stephen King is I actually don't want to hate Mark Hamill. Stephen King, I have no problem hating. I have no I have more reservation. Like with Mark Hamill, I have so much reservation. I should probably be working at a casino. With Stephen King, not so much.
I think Mark Hamill said he said this in a tweet. He says, "No matter who owns Twitter, I'll still be here." He was saying that to his followers.
Oh, well, I don't follow him.
How stunning and brave of him.
You think that's stunning and brave, Bruce?
Oh, absolutely. Very stunning and brave of him.
Honestly, I mean, I don't see that as woke. I just think he's being nice to his followers.
Yeah, like if I could meet Mark Hamill, like I've told you this before, Dan, but if I ever meet Mark Hamill, I just have one question for him. What was George Lucas like? That's all I care about. Either that or
you'll hear 1,000 good things about George.
Either that or I'll say, what was it like playing Joker and working with the guy who voiced Batman?
You should watch the featurette where he talks about the different kinds of laughs that inspired him.
Yeah, I just like seeing the recordings of him doing the voice. Like there was this one for Arkham City where he's doing and you see him like doing the "I'll be in touch." Like he doesn't.
You got to work on that laugh, dude.
Well, one, I'm not trying to do a Joker. Like I'm not good at impressions. I've probably told you this before. I'm a terrible impressionist.
I don't think you've said that before. But in all honesty, interestingly enough, I always hear from Mark Hamill critics or haters that that he's more like the Joker than Luke Skywalker. Like they say that all the time.
I mean, yeah, 50-50 for me.
I think Mark Hamill's just Mark Hamill. He's a great performer, but he's his own person. I'm not going to say he's more like Luke Skywalker or the Joker or any of that.
I mean, I tend to think if someone's good at acting like if they're a character actor, like if they're really good, I sometimes think maybe they can do it well because that character represents an aspect of them. So, like with Luke Skywalker, there's probably an aspect of Mark Hamill.
Of course,
is helpful, a good person.
Yeah.
Who wants to see the best. Like, there's probably an aspect of that to him, or there was at one point. With the Joker, there's a crazy side that just wants to watch the world burn and laugh as it does. There's probably an aspect of that in everyone.
Well, Luke Skywalker and the Joker feel like opposites when you really look at their characters.
They are opposites.
Yeah, but it's a very interesting thing. So it's like the good side of Mark Hamill could be Luke, and the bad side could be the Joker.
Yeah, either that or Mark Hamill's just a really good. Like some actors, they really don't need to give a shit about what they're doing. Like take what was that guy's name? He was in Shadow Out of the Past. He was a really good actor, but it looked like he wasn't even trying. Like he even said it was just a job for him. Like he said that the best actor he ever saw was Ren 1010. That's a fucking dog. He says, so there's probably a trick to it. He said, like, going to school for acting is like going to school for being tall.
Right.
Like, it makes no sense to him. So, like, he was a good actor. So some actors are like that. It's just natural. They're either naturally good or they do it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
So it could be that for Mark Hamill. The same with the guy who voices Batman, who actually I don't know much about him. From what I think I follow him on Twitter. He's an awesome guy.
Kevin Conroy. Oh yeah, Kevin Conroy is great.
Yeah, I think I hear he's a nerd though.
I didn't notice about him.
Kevin Conroy?
Yeah, I think I heard. Yeah. I remember Weaponized Nerd.
Batman.
DCAU. Kevin Conroy. Initially, he wasn't. Mark Hamill talks about like his first meeting with Kevin Conroy. He's like, I'm all excited about, I'm getting to voice Joker, and here I am. I'm with Batman, the guy who's Batman. He's like, Kevin was just like, this is all weird. This is just a normal job. Like, it's no big deal. Like who cares about Batman? It's a kid's show. It's whatever. Like, he was just completely dismissive of it. He didn't realize what was ahead of him.
Yeah. Then I think that was what turned him on to Batman, wasn't it? Like, doesn't that what got him interested in the character and made him like it?
Well, he said over time that he grew to love Batman.
Yeah, that comes with encountering fans and a positive experience with fans. That's what comes with that, is understanding. It's like, it's not like George Lucas had a different fan base compared to, say, Batman fans. Batman fans, they're kids that grow up and they have a fondness for these characters, but they also grew up in a pretty good era of how people treat each other, where Star Wars, its era of growing up, was very colorful, and very rebellious and very
inspirational.
I'd say artistic. Express yourself. Where the DCAU happened in an era of kind of conformity. So it's like, when you actually meet your fans and you see that they're nicer people than your stereotypical fanboy, that impacts you, that changes you.
Right.
Okay.
Honestly, though, what I didn't know, like I've been a longtime fan of Kevin Conroy, but I had no idea about this. I didn't know the dude was gay. I heard he was gay a couple days. Yeah, I know, right? I heard the dude was gay a couple. Huh? What did you say, Bruce?
I was saying, yeah.
I didn't know. I had no idea.
Me. I mean, it doesn't matter, but it's surprising.
No, it doesn't matter to me either. That's cool, but it's like during DC, I think their LGBTQ event or whatever, they made a whole comic, or like a comic talking about a comic. It was dedicated to Kevin Conroy. He was talking about his experience as a gay man in the studio or something. And I had no fucking idea. It's like, I didn't know he was gay. But to be fair, what were we going to say?
Go on.
But to be fair, Interestingly enough, I never thought about his sexual. I never thought it never occurred to me if he was married or not or anything. I just thought, oh, cool, Kevin Conroy. I love Kevin Conroy. I never thought about any of that. So when I found out, I was like, wow, okay. I guess that's a thing.
Yeah, and I love that. All right, that happened this year that he came out. It was revealed that he was gay, really.
Yeah.
I don't think he was hiding it. I mean, he does say that there was a time he was hiding it in that thing you're talking about, in that like press release or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it does affect me. You guys are like, oh, it doesn't affect me. It does affect me because to me, it's a matter of this is a guy who my entire life of knowing him was a straight guy.
As Batman.
And now it's like, oh no, he's actually gay.
Right.
And again, his sexuality doesn't matter. Like to me, it doesn't make any difference. Okay. And to me, it's more so of a point. Because I have gay relatives. It's more so a point that you can be normal. Not saying that Kevin Conroy is necessarily normal because he's an actor, but you can be normal. You don't have to throw it in everyone's face that you're gay. Okay? Like him being gay is an element or an aspect of his life. It's not his life.
Right.
You know, him being Batman, him being an actor is an aspect of his life. It's an element that comes to creating him.
But it's not his life.
It's not his life. It's not the thing that defines him.
Well,
and that's why I love him. It's like, this is a guy who's a perfect example. Absolutely great. I've had a brief chance to meet him.
Holy shit. Really?
Oh,
yeah. I got my picture taken with him. Yeah.
That's badass.
He's a cool dude, but I also at the same time I got a picture with Dean Cain.
Oh, really?
And it's Batman and Superman. It's hilarious to me because I actually got to talk with Dean Cain.
You got to talk with Dean Cain?
Lucky son of a bitch.
And well, look, when they came to my city, I was like, the timing of this is perfect. The stars are aligned. I have to go to this. Like I was like, maybe I'll go, maybe. And then I saw the guest list and I was like, Kevin Conroy, I have to go. Dean Cain, I have to go. So it's like, okay. And I was able to, like, Kevin Conroy, they rushed me in and rushed me out. Okay. With the fan pictures, like you get in, get out. Our picture is a little awkward because he was like wants some distance from me, and I want distance from him because neither of us are very touchy people. We're both Batman, so like we're like distant, dude. So it's a little awkward, but we're both friendly. Dean Cain, very homely, very welcoming, very social guy. Him and I were briefly talking about Crowder being banned from YouTube at the time, or suspended on YouTube at the time. And
wait,
we were
Dean Cain. Wait, you were talking with Dean Cain about Steven Crowder?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that Dean Cain's been on Steven Crowder's show.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow.
I told him that, what's it called? He wasn't on my radar as anyone. Like I didn't watch Lois and Clark. I encountered or I got onto Dean Cain from Steven Crowder.
Right.
Okay. And Steven Crowder gives the introduction like, hey, this is Superman. This is blah, blah, blah. You know him from this. But I told him when I met him, I was like, my mom is a bigger fan of yours than I am. She loves watching him on the Hallmark Channel. Like, pick a movie. She absolutely loves him. Right. When she didn't know he was gay until I told her.
Who, Kevin Conroy?
No, Dean Cain.
Dean Cain is gay too? Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Hey, met two gay guys in one day.
Yeah, I got my picture with two gay guys.
Hey,
but it's hilarious. And Dean Cain's another example. He's a normal fucking dude.
Yeah,
he's normal. And
doesn't dress good, doesn't dance in the street, just like he's normal. So
they don't. But honestly,
my mom's reaction to finding out that Dean Cain was gay was She snapped her fingers and said, "It's always the handsome ones."
I mean, yeah, like the stereotype is gay men actually take care of themselves.
Yes.
And yeah, wow.
Yeah, those two are night and day. Dean Cain is Superman and Kevin Conroy is Batman. Like they're both perfect. They're perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, who was the guy who played Green Goblin in the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie? Because like whenever I look at him,
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Whenever I look at him and Dean Cain now, I think sometimes they look almost similar.
Yeah. Ironically enough, if you do some digging, you can find a video of Willem Dafoe as like a young teenager, and I think he's doing choir music or something.
What?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
I'll have to check.
No, but it's like I was about to say, Bats. Not every Kevin Conroy hasn't always satisfied the status quo, and when I mean the status quo, I mean like the current status quo. Like during the protests with the riots and everything, he was on Twitter talking about why he thought those were bad, and these people harassed and canceled him over fucking thinking the riots were bad. And I was like, you're basically telling Batman that it's wrong to think riots are bad. You do realize where this is going, right?
Yeah, that idiot there. Hey, guys, I think I might end it here. Is that okay with y'all, or y'all want to keep talking?
We could end it here if you want, man.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Bruce, thanks for coming on. Dan, thanks for also coming on. It's always fun talking to you two.
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for having me on too.
All right, so y'all have a nice day. Anyone who saw this, have a nice day, and pray for sanity. See you.
Pray for sanity, please.